Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Live from Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. Tonight, I am joined by some very special friends for a special one-shot session playing Modiphius Entertainment's Conan, Adventures in an Age Undreamed of. This is a game that I ran quite a bit last year, but I actually haven't returned to it in quite some time. So I'm pretty excited to get back to it. And so I'm just going to check to make sure we're actually streaming live here.
Yeah.
And it does. Hey, terrific. So the first goal has been achieved. Now with me on this journey to the Hyborian age tonight are a group of new faces in some cases on the channel, and returning favorites as well. So let's go the order. I've got you guys on my screen here. First up is Adam. Why don't you tell us who you are, who you're playing, and where we can learn more about you.
Great. I'm Adam. I'm playing Tenga. He's once a prince, but then his brother kicked him out. He then became a sailor and then a pirate. And he has kind of gone back and forth between being very successful financially and being very poor on the other spectrum. And now he has been captured and enslaved. So I'm playing him, and I'm just here to have a good time and maybe crush some skulls.
Nice. Next up is Chad.
Hey, I'm playing Ulrika, a Brythunian scoundrel. I fled home at an early age because farming is boring beyond comprehension, and I thought that banditry might be a lot more exciting, and it was until I got wanted. And so now I can. It's a good thing that I was bored at home because I can never go
home. Next up is Dave.
Hi, everybody. I am Dave Forche at David J. Forche on Twitter and Instagram, and I am playing Hypatia, the archer. It was long and short, has a little military career, ended up, when her ship got captured, shooting the eye out of her slaver captain, and now she's eager to complete the job somehow. So,
nice. And last but not least is Matt.
Hey, I'm Matt. I also live stream games over on my Twitch channel on YouTube at Jowzam's Den. Feel free to drop by at anytime. I am playing Papias Varro, the noble warrior tonight, a typical Aquilonian citizen. He spent much of his youth growing up near Samaria, where his father was recruiting the hillmen to take down the local king. But now he roams the land, taking up knightly orders wherever he can. He has a distrust for Matanga because he does not like slavery.
I take offense.
It's a standard action. Okay, so let's do the old camera shuffle here and get ourselves into roll 20. Let's see here. Well, I shall turn my camera off here. Okay, present to everyone. Put that on. I'll close the giant character sheet I got open. All right, so what you guys may need to do for those who are in the Hangouts, you may need to turn your camera off in your Hangout and then refresh roll 20 to get it to pick up your camera, because that's it's kind of finicky sometimes. Let's see here. The other thing I'm going to suggest is that you go into the cog and change the location of your avatar to the top of the page, because that way you are more likely to be making eye contact with your camera than with looking down the whole session. So I'm going to move everybody over once we get on here. Dave, I don't see you. Adam, I don't see you. And Matt, I don't see you. I see you. I guess I could have just said I see Chad only. That would have probably been easier. Okay, let's see here.
Are we doing video only through?
Yeah, just video only through Roll20. Okay.
What's that?
Yes, Sean, I'm on a GMing marathon. This is the last leg. I think in the last like week and a half, I've run 5 different games.
This is my third with you.
Yeah.
Maybe fourth. I don't know. Keeping track.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna try refreshing mine here and see if you show up there, Matt. If it's not, it looks like it's struggling. It's trying to get you in there, but there you are. Okay. So you're working. Chad's working. Adam, you're not up, and Dave's gone altogether. Oh no, Dave's back. Adam, what browser are you using?
I'm on Google.
Oh, Chrome. Okay. So maybe what you could try is if you go to the top, the cog on the top of your Hangout, you can turn your camera off there. And yeah, and then if you hit refresh on Roll20, that often sorts out the which program is trying to access it in Chrome.
Right.
And Dave, I'm not seeing you in Roll20 either. Oh, I see you in Roll20. Here we go. You are just very stationary. So there's last time I kept asking Steve if he's awake still. Okay.
Gonna mess with Kev tonight. Maybe I'll wait another hour, a couple hours though, until it gets a little later and you're a little tired.
Yes. We have an extra hour tonight. Thank God for daylight savings. Oh,
Oh,
An extra
yeah.
hour of gaming?
was that?
An extra hour of gaming?
Yeah, it is. Why after we wrap up the game, Jaden works tonight, so we've got a father and son zombie killing night tonight. So, going to be important work. Really, truly a productive evening for me. Adam, did that work for you?
No, I don't think so.
Because you're off. Maybe hit. Have you tried refreshing Roll20?
Yeah, I tried refreshing and then I tried exiting out of the game and re-entering.
Okay. If you go to the cog on the right of Roll20 and you scroll down to I want to broadcast to others, is that set to voice and video or to nothing? Or
It says video only for both those. The
for
receiver.
both those. Maybe try hitting reconnect at the bottom there. See if it makes a difference. And do you have the video input source? Is there something there?
There is something there.
Okay.
A bunch of garbled numbers and letters.
Oh, maybe try see if it gives you. If you drop down, see if it gives you any other options.
No, just the one.
Just the one. Okay.
I haven't done video through Roll20 in a long time.
No, it's you know, we use it for our just for the streams, but the capturing options are not great on it. Okay, well that's fine. I mean, the enough of this channel has been spent on tech support already, so let's dive into the game. Okay, so guys, our scene opens on a storm-tossed sea. It's black and then suddenly lit by this flash of lightning, and we see a ship that is being thrown up into the air, or thrown atop this massive black wave, and then comes crashing down on it and goes roiling down. The ship and its meager sails are barely visible through the blinding rain, and you can see that the massive ship full of scurrying sailors who are desperately trying to, avoid being tossed off the side, are fighting their very, very best to try and keep this thing afloat in this tempest. We then see a white lettering in that Hyborian font show up that says the Goblin, slave ship off the south coast of the Black Kingdoms. And as the camera goes in a little closer, we can see that the people who are scrambling around on the decks here are all reprobates. Like this is the Hyborian equivalent of the cast of Pirates of the Caribbean. They all have completely unusual characteristics. They're all the races of men are represented on this motley crew. every one of them has some horrible disfigurement or scar or something that suggests that these men have lived hard and brutal lives to this point. And we can tell that, of course, these have the domineering cast of a slaver. And as we sort of carry across, and we see these guys running back and forth. The deck is just full. It seems as if almost the entire crew is on the front deck, on the deck here, trying to struggle to keep this ship aloft. And we see one guy striding amongst all of them, barking out commands with only one eye. He's not barking out commands with the eye, but he has only one eye. He's striding amongst them, and as fearful as they may be of the storm, it seems that they fear him even more, because they snap to attention as soon as he gives these commands. The camera continues on, and we go down into the hull. We pass a guy who's running back up on deck, seemingly maybe the only person left. And as we move through the black hull of the ship, where one or two lanterns wobble back and forth dangerously, we see one of these lanterns being borne by a small and slender hooded figure. This figure sort of makes her way to the deck. She hears the sound, or we all hear the sound of someone kind of running along. She ducks, or this figure ducks into a shadow, a kind of an alcove, and pulls their cloak around the lantern, and two more of these slaver scum go running past her and then up to the front deck or top deck. The lantern is pulled away, and she looks to the side, and we see it is a woman with unusually kind of like green speckled eyes, beautiful figure or features, very statuesque. The hooked nose that tells us, of course, that she has noble Aquilonian birth. Her tight black hair sort of curls around to the side, and even though she looks a little worse for wear, she seems all the more beautiful for it. She then turns and races down the hall to this other, or down onto another deck below, and then into this room where we see four figures getting themselves dressed. She brings the robe open, and she hands this sword over to Papias. So, guys, why don't we give a very quick description of what we see here? You're someone has helped. You guys have all helped each other get your equipment on, and once you do your introduction, I will dive into everyone's favorite thing, a little block text. So, Papias, what do you look like?
Papias is your standard knight. So he's equipped from head to toe in chainmail. He carries a sword and shield, so he's stands out quite a bit in the current setting. He's a very stoic character, so he's not really fazed by the current turn of events.
Okay, Ulrika.
Ulrika is, I'm assuming, a relatively young woman with kind of a sandy blonde hair, dressed in a brigandine jacket. She has a short sword belted at her waist, and a crossbow in her hand.
Okay. Has she cocked the crossbow as well and loaded it?
I believe she has.
Okay. Next, our camera pans over to Matanga.
Matanga, tall, strong, bald. My go-to weapon, saber. I have the parachute pants tucked in my tight boots, and a padded jerkin. I'm also sort of making myself look a bit more straight and upright, because I believe this is the noble woman that I am a bit infatuated with.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were also while everyone else comes from more northern lands, I believe you're the only one from one of the Black Kingdoms, too.
Yes. Yeah, I am from the Black Kingdom.
And last but not least, Hypatia.
Hypatia wears a chain shirt, and she's got a Bossonian longbow and a broadsword strapped to her belt. Her arrows hanging behind her. She's fiery and wild-eyed. A little bit of a blue war paint on her face when she has a chance to apply it.
which is, I think, a stark contrast to her cascading red hair, too, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so let's turn to the black text. Recently captured by slavers, you are in the hold of a slave ship headed for a slave market on the coast of the Black Kingdoms, facing a grim and uncertain future. Your fate is about to change. The slavers, led by the despicable Captain Cahero, have a prize. An Aquilonian woman named Delia, captured alongside you. She will fetch a noble's bounty in Kush and wants none of it. She has offered all of you a way out if you agree to protect her and escort her to a safe port. In addition, she's willing to pay you handsomely. This is far better than any deal you'll get in the slave markets of Kush, so you agreed. And on this storm-tossed night, Delia obtained keys to the cells using charm and guile. Once freed from your chains, you discovered that the keys also provided access to the lockers where your seized equipment was stored, with the exception being with Papias's finely crafted sword, which was hidden in Captain Caharo's quarters. Suddenly, the ship tossed as the storm increased in ferocity, waves hammering at the hull. Everyone is thrown as the ship strikes something with a great creaking crash. The hull reverberates, torn by a jagged spar of wok. It's a Chinese cooking implement that hit you? Didn't expect that, did you?
No.
The rock, water floods in, the decks above thunder with slavers' footbeats, and the wind howls and roars, thirsty waves ready to claim the ship. Your only salvation is the ship's dinghy, and you must kill your way through to seize it. So, Tanya, you know, looking at your colleagues, that it is wise, definitely, to, when entering battle, wear heavy armor. What is not often a good combination is armor and the open sea. Do you have any comments to your new comrades with respect to that?
Sure. I'll turn to them and say, be careful what you keep close to you because it may pull you down into the sea. And if you need to be armored up, especially you, Papias, stay away from the sides.
Silence, slaver. I know how to handle myself in battle.
If
Come now, boys. We have things
for
to do.
Delia, I imagine things would go differently. Hypatia, Ulrika, you got anything to say before you guys try and effect your escape here?
Boys. We have a captain to slay.
I'm more about getting on that dinghy and getting off of here, but I'll happily kill the captain on the way out if it comes to that.
Okay. So describe for me, guys, how you make your way to the main deck. So let's move us over to a scene of pirate action. So
Nice.
we see in for those listening at home, we can see pictures or illustrations of our 4 Hyborian heroes. So what do you do, guys?
Murder. Death. Kill.
Yeah, sword and shield in hand. I tell the others to get behind me, and we charge our way to the top of the deck, slaying every pirate and slaver along the way.
So I'm going to use this example for, sorry, Adam, I keep playing your character for you here. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to point out one kind of mechanic that can actually, benefit you guys. So do you remember the scene in Conan the Barbarian where our heroes infiltrated Thulsa lair to recover the princess? So in this game, one way of looking at that whole process is that the act of infiltrating the lair was a series of stealth checks that the players would have made. And as they did that, they would have generated more and more momentum. And then when you transition from one scene to another scene, you lose one momentum from the pool. But by the time that shit hit the fan and they started, the fucking Basil Polidorius music, rose and we knocked over the people soup, they would have had a nice fat, momentum pool to draw on to start things going. So knowing that that's an example of how to do things, Matanga, who's pretty fucking awesome at stealthy shit,
Living
what you could, in theory, do is spend a scene kind of like reconnoitering the thing to make sure it's safe, and then mechanically generate a couple momentum to give you guys a little something to use as you jump into action.
Should I use? I imagine I have living shadow and sharp senses.
Yep. So your living shadow, I think that's the one that gives you 1 momentum automatically, doesn't it?
Yeah, gains +1 momentum for stealth tests.
Yeah. So let's do this just for the sake of getting dice rolling here and helping you see how this works. So let's pull up Matanga's sheet here. And so Matanga, I'm going to get you to make a stealth check here. And I'm actually only going to set the difficulty at 0 because these guys are so focused on keeping this fucking ship afloat, and it's so dark and there's so many distractions that really, as long as whatever successes you get, you can just count. As long as you get a success, you've succeeded, and you'll dump it into the momentum pool. So why don't you give us now what you have an option to do? You start with 2d20, and then you can choose to give me more doom to roll extra dice if you like, up to 5 total. I mean,
Wait, I'm not going to do any extra dice just yet.
Okay.
But do I just hit the die icon by the stealth?
that's right, yeah, and it should ask you if there's any extra dice. Just hit no or whatever the prompt is, and let's see how you do. 1 success, nice. All right, so what that means is you have generated, you've succeeded, and you've generated 1 momentum. Now, describe for us, what does this look like as Matanga, darts forward ahead of his more heavily armored allies and scouts out this thing?
I'm going to make a show of kind of brushing past Papias and and saying I know ships better than the battlefield, and
Right.
I'm going to kind of go into kind of a stealth pose and kind of lead them forward. My main focus is keeping an eye on Delia and making sure that she's in a position of safety,
Okay.
relatively compared to the scene, and hopefully stealthily make our way up to the main deck.
Okay, so you're able to sort of make your way up that to the sort of second deck, and there's no one there. You gesture and get everyone forward, and then you're able to make your way up to the the stairwell that leads up from the second deck up to the main deck. And for those who may know anything about nautical shit at home, I apologize for my shitty butchering of this, but I grew up in a landlocked city, so you go to the main deck. And the water, the rain is just pouring down on you. Your war paint or whatever that you've got in your forehead doesn't run, but the water rolls down your face, and no one seems to have spotted you. Papias, Ulrika, and Hypatia, how are you guys following behind? We're going to assume Delia is sort of taking her lead from you guys.
I'm going to try to follow Matanga as stealthily as I can.
Sure.
And just kind of stay in front of Delia because...
Is your armor noisy?
It does not say that.
Okay, no, that's fine. So what noisy does is just bumps the difficulty up by 1. So what you're looking at, Ulrika, is there's 1 momentum in the pool right now. You could take that and add another dice. You could also give me up to 2 doom to grab more dice if you want to go up to the max of 5, or you can just choose to roll 2 and see what comes. I will tell you, like I said before we went live too, the game really rewards kind of going big. You want to kind of swing for the fences with this. The more dice you roll, the more momentum you're going to get, the better results you're going to get. So what do you think, Ulrika?
Okay, so normally I roll 2 dice. Is that the...
Normally 2, yeah. And then you can choose to use that momentum to add 1 more. And then you could also give me 2 doom and gain 2 more dice. So you could roll 5 in total. I love doom.
Don't give him doom.
Why don't we roll some 5 dice here? How do I change that?
So it should prompt you. There should be a prompt that comes up that gives you an option to add dice or add. Let's see here. Let me Your Hypatia. Let's see here. Where's
Yeah.
stealth?
I don't see anything on my character sheet anymore. I
Oh,
see
hold on.
numbers.
Who are you? Ulrika?
Yeah.
Let's see here. It should still be there. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just gonna see what happens when I roll your stealth is under agility. Here we go. So boom, what it does is input dice value. When you click on a dice roll, it shows up as input dice value. It always assumes it's 2, but if you give me 2 doom and that momentum, we put 5, and then we just hit submit, and boom, the result would be 2. And if you hover over it, you can see what the results are. Now, you're not stuck with that dice. Are you able to see your character sheet now?
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, I have to open it up in a separate pop-up window or something, and then I can actually see what's on there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so how do I edit it again?
So if you just click on the dice,
Yeah.
and you see how it says input value?
No.
Says number dice.
Okay, so 5.
So now, yeah, put in 5. So I'll adjust the momentum to, not 10, 0, and I'll bump my doom pool up by 1.
And submit.
Do.
Where'd my dice go?
Let's see here. Nice. Oh, and you rolled a 20. Lovely. That gives me a chance to talk about complications. So just like in Star Wars, there is a possibility to like both succeed at something but have something shitty happen. The number of anytime you roll a 20, or I can spend doom to make things shitty, you have some unrelated complicating thing happen. Let me think here. Only one, I think, will be so Ulrika, you do succeed, which means you've got 1 net success here. You can dump that into momentum if you like, because really there's nothing else you've got to do with it at this point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll do that.
okay. So as you're making your way, you make your way behind. You're trying to sneak up with Matanga as well. The complication is there's actually one more, like, he's the lazy man slaver who you can hear running down the hallway. And right now you've got Matanga, who is studying the deck that is just full of slavers. Like the entire crew is up here. The rest of the slaves are actually locked below, unfortunately. But with the damage to the vessel, Matanga, you know that this thing's going down, and going down soon. Ulrika and Matanga are on the stairs. They're sort of like that junction between the stairs, and then this slaver who's coming running up is going to run between Papias and Hypatia and Delia, and Ulrika and Matanga. So Papias or Hypatia, actually, you know what? Let's start. So normally you heroes always get to go first. I'm going to spend a doom to have our Johnny-come-lately slaver go next here. So this guy comes running down, and he sees you guys. And I'm going to make a quick check here to see if he's actually able to react in time. He is. So he sees you guys there. And Papias and Hypatia, maybe describe for me where you guys would have positioned yourselves. Like, Papias, are you sort of like taking the lead and getting Delia behind you, or?
Yeah, I would have commanded my fellow Aquilonian to get behind me, and I would have protected her. I would have brought up the rear. I think.
Okay. So this guy is going to, he sees you, and then he will, he's going to grab a cudgel that's hanging out his waist, something that you guys have known, not necessarily this one, but you certainly felt the sting of these things over the past weeks and perhaps months. Gets his cudgel and he runs in, and that's really all he can do. So he's engaged with you right now, trying to put you back into place. Next up will be Papias or Hypatia. What are you guys going to do?
Well, Hypatia is going to step past Papias too, because he looks like he's going to bring up the rear, and she's way more stealthy than he is, even in her mail vest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead, and now there is 1 momentum that you've got access to, and you can give me up to 2 more doom as well. What do you want to do?
I will roll 4 dice.
Nice. Kev gets doom.
Does that momentum give you 1 doom?
1 doom then. No, the momentum doesn't. It's the fact that you're rolling 4 dice that gives me 1 doom.
3.
Nice. Oh, terrific. So do you want to spend that momentum for anything, or because you've got 2 at least 2 momentum, you could in theory take another standard action.
So I basically snuck up the stairs. Do I see this throwing his cudgel?
Yes, you see this guy has sort of run in. He hasn't seen you, but he's run in and is engaged with Papias at this point.
Can I pop up from the hold and stick an arrow in him?
You absolutely can. So the difficulty will be, so this guy is 1 range away from you, so he's short range. What's the range of your bow? There's
range M.
Medium is your ideal range. Okay, cool. So normally what it would be is you take your ideal range and then each range increment away from that raises it by 1. This means for you, it would be a 2, but you've got that talent that allows you to ignore one of them.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got
shoot for the horizon.
Yes. So it is
the
only
difficulty.
Yep. So it's only 1, and you have 3 momentum you're sitting on. Oh no, 1 more because you spent.
I spent 1.
Yep. So the difficulty will be because it's your second action. The difficulty goes up by 1, which means it's a TN 2.
Okay. So go to roll for the longbow.
Right. And remember, you can give me Doom to get extra dice as well. There's no such thing as too much Doom. I'm pretty sure our max was close to 50 at our marathon session.
Okay. So how many dice am I rolling now? Just the 1?
Just 2. Always
2?
start with 2. Yeah.
Always starts with 2. So it says modifier to damage dice. I'm not clicking that, am I?
No, you just not on the weapon. Just click on your what is it? Melee range. No, not melee range. Your
My range.
Weapon ranged. Yeah.
Under coordination, I think.
Yes.
Range weapons. Okay.
Okay. So do you want to use that 1 momentum you generated to add in dice?
Sure.
Okay, so that means you got 3 dice in there. The alternative, what you could do is save it for penetration or save it for damage. That means you're rolling 3 right now, and you want to give me 2 more Doom?
No, I'm just going to roll 3.
Coward. Go ahead, make your roll. Nice. Okay, so that is enough to hit. No momentum is generated, but you connect. Go ahead and click on the damage roll for your weapon.
Okay, that was the one down by the weapon.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here.
Modifier to damage 0?
Yeah, 0.
Okay.
How does this guy go down, Dave?
Well, seems like an arrow in the eye is the theme of the weekend. So she pops up and sees this slaver running forward with his cudgel and just quickly pulls back and lets go and aims for the head. And
awesome. So Papias, this guy is advancing towards you. He raises that cudgel and then suddenly something kind of sticks out of his eye and he collapses down dead. And as he drops down, then you see where the source of the arrow is Hypatia. Papias, what are you going to do?
I'll nod knowingly to Hypatia, like a thank you.
Awesome. Papias, what are you going to do?
Well, I am noisy, which is not good. And we're trying to stealth this, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. The upside is because of the distractions, the target number starts at 0. So really your TN is only a 1 with stealth.
Okay.
Let's
do this. I don't want to feed you any more Doom at this point.
Doom's so good. Okay, go ahead. Make your roll. Ooh.
All right. I am clanging and banging everywhere.
Yeah. Matanga, you're sort of, you're completely hidden. You're a shadow drifting across the deck. But then you hear this sort of like rattle, rattle, rattle. And your heavily armored, frenemy walks to the top of the stairs. There's this crash of lightning. The light all reflects off of his shiny plate armor. And half of the deck kind of turns and looks at this, this vision of knighthood standing on the deck. They turn and look, and there's this pregnant pause before you hear from the other end of the deck, like way at the other end, you hear Captain Cajaro yell out, "Get them!" And we go into combat, guys. 0 net momentum generated, but I did get some Doom out of that. So It's worked exactly as intended. So, guys, as I mentioned before we went live, heroes always go first in the Conan game, unless I spend Doom. And I am not spending Doom. So, guys, what do you want to do? There's, God, there's at least like 12 slavers that are all going to be charging in on you guys. Who wants to go first?
I want to try and take a shot at the captain's other eye, and hopefully break their morale before they get.
So let's see here. So Captain Cajero is. One second here. I just want to check one thing. Captain Cajero is probably about 3 away, so I think he's long range from you. What is your optimum range for your weapon?
Medium.
Nice. Okay, so it's only a TN2. I'm going to bump it to TN2 more, so it'll be TN4 for that long of a range attack, just because of the darkness, the driving rain, and the wind. So I just want to check one thing here about reactions, because I can't remember. I know there's a parry reaction, and I think dodge uses something as well. I'm going to see if he's going to try and get the fuck out of the way. So your dice pool, it starts at 2 there, Chad. And do you wish to give me any more Doom to get extra dice?
Yeah, I'm going to take some Doom.
How much do you want?
Can I get 2 extra dice?
You can get up to 3.
Well, let's go. Let's go all out here. I'll go for 3.
Nice.
And can I also take a minor action to aim, or would I need to have done that?
You can absolutely do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take a minor action to aim. So if I successfully hit, we gain 1 momentum.
Nice. Okay, so you raise your crossbow up. You take aim at his one good eye, and here we go.
Big money, no whammy.
Whoa! Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so that's a good example of. Oh, and you know what? It did not count. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you actually have 6 successes, because the 2 green that are in there, those are equal to your expertise. So actually, you've got a hit and 2 momentum.
Nice.
Nice. So now, what do you can choose to spend that momentum to do something like you could do bonus damage, which means you would roll extra points of damage. Now, you can choose that after you roll damage.
All right. Let me roll damage and see what I come up with, because I also get, because of accurate, I can re-roll 2 of the dice.
Awesome.
So
make your so let's click on the crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Okay, so 3, and modifier to damage dice.
No modifier.
No modifier.
No. Okay. 2. Okay. And yeah. Oh, that's not great. All right. So you're shot 5. Now you can actually re-roll those.
Yeah, I think I might.
So just go ahead and maybe just hit /roll space 2d6, and let's see what those are. That's probably easier. And we'll just read those dice as
comment bar here.
Yeah, just in the chat.
So
or
roll
whatever it is.
/
space 2d6. Hey, nice. Oh, awesome. Okay, so that's way better. That's 1 each. And what was the thing that triggered your the effect on your weapon?
What do you mean? The
Unforgiving. Oh, wasn't subject. Okay, unforgiving is if they're subject to an exploit action before, and he was not. So, great. So that's 2 points of damage as well, but it gives you 2 effect. But I don't think your crossbow has any effects unless it's
It's just the unbalanced, unforgiving, and volley are the things that are on
Yeah,
there.
no, so nothing else. Okay, so that's 2 points of damage though to Kaharo. So unfortunately, the shot was good. Oh, now hold on. You've also got your 2 momentum. Do you want to roll more damage dice on this, or do you want to
Yes.
feed the momentum to someone else?
I'm going to roll more damage dice.
Okay, go ahead.
But just the same.
Same thing. Yeah, just roll roll space 2d20 or 2d6.
Or you can press the up arrow and it'll go cycle through your last.
There you go. Nice. Okay, so you got 4 points of damage and 4 effects. So your shot flies across the deck and hits him. It's unfortunately not quite good enough to inflict a wound. So it grazes his cheek. And he looks over, and he kind of, even in spite of the distance, in spite of the driving rain, he knows who's responsible for that shot. Who wants to go next?
Papias will.
Sure, go ahead, Papias.
All right, so Papias tells Delia, "Get by me, my lady," and he backs her up towards the mast, and then he stands in front of her to take on any attackers that may come at them, and he's going to swing at the nearest pirate.
Okay, nice. So just like in Star Wars, guys, there are different classifications of adversaries in this. There are minions, there are experienced, and there are like nemesis. And I can't remember if that's the proper name, but we'll use those for the purpose of today. These guys are minions, which means that you attack them all kind of as a group. If you do enough damage to take one down, it'll follow through to the next one. So Papias, you are making your attack against these schmoes. I don't think there's any advantage here necessarily because of the respective size of weapons. So you're starting at TN of 1. Do you wish to give me any doom?
Sure, I'll
Nice.
do it this time. Go big or go home. I'm going to do all 3. I'll go for 5 dice.
Hey, let's see that doom pool grow.
He's got to protect the
Okay,
lady.
so you
All right.
Whoa, nice. And I think looks like there's some more successes in there. That's nice. 5. So that means you generated 4 momentum on this.
Nice.
So you go racing in. Let's roll damage, and then you can decide what you want to do with your momentum afterwards.
Sure. Sounds good.
All
I
right.
get to re-roll one, but I don't want to, do I? That's all good stuff.
That's all pretty good. Yeah, and you got 1 effect on it as well. What is the... I know it's got the traits on your sword are like... what is it? Defend 1?
It's parrying, so
Parrying
if I
one.
have to defend, then I get bonuses.
Yeah, so defenses are something worth mentioning too, guys. So the way that defenses work on this is you get it's a reaction, and you can do as many reactions as you want in a round as you want, but each one costs you progressively 1 more doom. First reaction costs 1 doom, second reaction costs 2, and so forth. Unless you've got a weapon or a shield, which reduces the cost of that, like say Papias's sword or Papias's shields. So, that's unfortunately actually not enough to take one down. These are pretty tough. So but you are sitting on 4 momentum. What do you want to spend that stuff for?
Well, let's use 2 to do a secondary target. Let's.
Nice. So you cut through. So you definitely carve one of these guys down, and that still leaves you 2 momentum.
Okay, what do I want to use my other 2 momentum for?
You could dump it in the momentum pool for whoever's next action.
Sure, let's do that.
Okay. So why don't you describe for us what this looks like as Papias, carves his way through one and injures another pirate.
Yeah, he carves his way through one, and as another pirate's coming at him, he just raises his shield and bashes him with it as he hopefully he connects.
Yeah, tooth flies out of his rotted mouth. Next up is either Matanga or Hypatia. Who wants
I'd
to
like to go next if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's 2
I wanna
momentums.
use Papias's kind of glinting, slaying distraction to stealthily observe if I can possibly chop some rigging that will come down like onto somebody, like engaging in melee. I'd like to create people for them.
Sure. You know what I'll do is like what is it you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to like knock some guys off the deck? Are you trying to like block like section off part of the deck from people or what?
I
What's
think
the
I'm I'll probably try to create an opportunity for us to get closer to the captain and take him out.
Okay.
So to kind of get rid of some of the minions in the process, like
Yeah. So what I'm gonna get you to do is give me a sailing check. That's gonna to judge, like what mast and what thing you need to chop in order to get the most effect for that.
sure.
So right now there is 2 momentum in the momentum pool, so that you could use that to get 2 extra dice, setting you at 4, and then you could also give me 1 doom to get 5 if you want.
I'll just take the 2.
Okay.
Because I do have Sailor as one of my talents.
Yep.
Tanga can reroll 1d20 for sailing tests.
Oh, terrific. So go ahead and give me a sailing check, and you're rolling 4 dice. Ooh, nice. Hold on. Did you get... Oh, I was looking at the wrong thing here. Excellent.
20. Can they reroll that 20?
I don't think you can reroll complications.
Okay.
I think you can reroll anything but complications. But let me just double check that, because I don't want to. No, actually, no. Fuck it. I'll say that you can't, because that's just more fun. You could reroll that 17 though.
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead and reroll that. You do have currently 3 successes actually, because you rolled a 1, which is under your expertise. Like if you hover over the 2, it'll show you rolled a 1 and a 7.
Okay.
Yeah. So
to re-roll, should I just click sailing? But
I just hit like a / roll space 1d20.
So
Nice. Oh, 14. Is that equal to or less than your sailing?
probably not.
Well, let's take a look here. Come on. 12 is your total. Okay, so not quite good enough. However, you did get 3 successes, and the difficulty was only a 1. So you're going to achieve what you wanted with 2 momentum as well. But there is... Oh, you know what? I got the perfect complication. Awesome. So you jump up, like you're born to this. You scramble across the rain-soaked deck. You duck underneath the a cudgel swung at you by one pirate. You leap onto the mast and kind of scramble up this thing. You pull your saber out and hack this one bit of rigging, which does achieve what you want to sort of like make it a clearer path to the captain. Unfortunately, it seems like that was keeping the ship largely in place at one point. So the whole ship kind of lurches to the side. You're fine, but I need Papias, Ulrika, and Hypatia to please give me an acrobatics check, please.
Thanks, Matanga.
Actually, I'll let you do I think it's acrobatics, not athletics. Unless you guys want to make a pick for athletics. I don't think it is, but... Ooh, Hypatia, no problem. Whoa! Hypatia rolled 4 successes. Good lord. Ulrika rolled 1, so that's good. Papias rolled 1. All right, guys. So, Hypatia, anything you want to do with that momentum?
I'm going to carry that into my action, which is going to come up after this.
Next. Okay, cool. So that goes into the pool. Matanga, you still have 2 momentum. Anything you want to do with that? You could, for instance, spend 2 to take another action if you want, another standard action. Or you could dump it into the momentum pool. Momentum pool has a max of 6.
I'll dump it into the momentum pool, hopefully for Hypatia.
There you go. Hypatia, you're sitting on a sweet 5. Now, one final thing I'll give Matanga before we transition to Hypatia. Matanga, from what you can see, it's like one more round before this ship goes down. You can see now it is basically like accordioned against the side of this massive rock. And you the ship is sort of like the whole front end is starting to go down. The slavers and pirates are all kind of scrambling over the side to get into these dinghies and setting off into the darkened waves. And because you roll so well too, you do actually spot one other thing. You think you see a scaly hide, like a shark or perhaps some kind of giant reptile, crest out of the blackened water and go back beneath.
Oh boy. Can I yell something from my position on the mast?
Sure. What do you yell?
I yell at our adversaries. I'm going to yell, this battle or your life. Meaning, like, you can either fight this battle or you can hopefully flee. And
I hope that Bottega actually did that explanation afterwards too. This battle or your life, by which I mean you can fight here or you can. Bottega is a remarkably conscientious and well-spoken pirate / slaver. So last one, Hypatia, what are you doing?
Well, Hypatia was tempted to search for an open dinghy and try and guide the rest of the team, but she's the one who shot the other eye out of the slaver captain, though he doesn't know it.
Yep.
And she's eager to complete the job, so it's arrow at the captain.
Okay, so difficulty is once again 4 is the target number. You have 5 momentum, so you could easily draw 3 dice to give yourself a dice pool of 5. You can't roll any more than 5, so go ahead and make your shot.
5 dice.
Yep.
Bam.
Ooh, and it looks like you got more. Yes, that's 5 successes. So you get a hit with 1 momentum. Why don't you roll damage, and then we'll decide what you want to do with your momentum. Oh. So 5 would be a wound. However, his armor prevents it. So let's see here. Does the longbow have any effects?
Well, Hypatia has accurate as well, so she can reroll 2 ranged combat tests.
You got successes on all of them.
So I guess I can't make anything better.
Well, you can. It's just that you may be giving up your successes.
Right.
Is there any effect on it though? Is it like vicious or any traits?
Nope, just piercing.
Just piercing.
Yeah.
Piercing. Yeah, that's helpful. Piercings, each effect reduces the armor by 1. So actually, you know what? Because you rolled 2 effects on that, it reduces the armor by 2. He doesn't wear a lot of armor. You fucking take that second eye out. Matching set.
Take that, Captain.
Okay, then on the pirate's turn. So that's the end of our hero's turn, pirate turn. All right. So a group of pirate minions are going to be running in on each of you guys. I'm going to say 3 on each. So first off, on Papias, do you wish to make a reaction?
I do.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a parrying check, and then I'll subtract that from their successes.
Sure.
Okay.
Parrying, where are you? And I can feed you Doom or use momentum for this?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can use momentum. Oh, hold on. And yeah, it's not end of the round yet, so you could grab that to do momentum if you like.
And I also have I triggered an effect, did I not, on my sword? And it has parrying as a reduces the cost of
all that. Yeah, parrying is kind of a passive effect. It just means that the first one doesn't cost you any Doom. First reaction doesn't cost you any Doom.
Oh, so I can give myself an extra die and it's not going to cost me a Doom right now.
That is correct. You can actually give yourself 2 extra die. Well, no. The effect doesn't feed through to momentum.
Okay.
Effects either it triggers something or it does not.
Okay.
So but what you do have is 2 momentum you could dump into your parry pool, and you can give me more Doom if you want. All 5.
I'll take the 2 momentum for now.
Okay, good call. So I rolled mine.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay. And actually, you're going to roll a net of that's 5 successes because of the 1. I only rolled 3 successes, which means you've got a net of 2 momentum. So I think...
Smack him back.
Yeah, I think there is actually one called counterattack.
That would be like your riposte.
Yeah, retaliate is your reaction.
Retaliate.
Oh, sorry, no, retaliate's the one. It's kind of like a tax of opportunity. Right. So anyway, so you, unless you can think of something. Okay, here's another thing I should have mentioned, guys. You can use momentum to also cause problems for the other side. Like, you got to give me a narrative explanation for it, but like what could happen is there's still going to be 3 more groups of pirates to attack. So what Papias could do, for instance, is say that as he's fighting, you parry and then knock them off balance and sort of screw up the attack on Ulrika, and their difficulty of their target numbers would then be 2 higher.
Okay.
Or you can bank it for someone's reaction if you want.
I'm going to bank it for the next guy because I did use 2 and I did feed you Doom.
Yeah,
so I'm going to pay it forward.
Oh, did you roll 3 dice? I love me some Doom. Nice. All right. So then next up is I got to start spending some of that Doom down. Okay. So I'm going to roll for the pirates on Ulrika. I only get... Okay. So I did get a success. Now, Ulrika, do you want to... you've got a crossbow, which isn't a parrying thing, but what you could do is, I think it's an athletics check to dodge as a defense.
Okay.
Let me see here. I'm just going to double check. In athletics, sorry, this is something I should have looked at beforehand. I did not think of it. No, strong back. Maybe it's acrobatics.
Acrobatics would be better because I can re-roll 1d20.
Yeah, that's probably would be helpful. And that is what do you call it? A tried and true player approach in every game I run of like, hey, how about I use history? Can I use history to dodge?
I think we had some of that last night.
Previous one.
Yeah.
And how I was wearing that on my belt.
Okay, reactions. Hold on, let me take a look here. Because I think there is an option of just like getting the fuck out of the way. But I can't.
Can I use my iron will to undo this trap?
You cannot. No. Let's see here. The skill used by the defender determined by the type of attack. 117. Yeah, sorry, there isn't. In melee, it's parry. So okay. I guess, you know what, you can go ahead and do that. It just, it would be like trying to get your crossbow in the way. It gives me 1 doom for you to take that reaction. But, so you want to make a parry check?
Yeah, I'll make a parry check.
There's 2 momentum in the momentum pool.
I will, you know what? I am a scoundrel, so I'm going to use them.
Nice. Okay. So you got 4 dice. Go ahead and make your roll.
And there's no roll for parry, right?
There is. There's a skill called parry. I think it's under coordination.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Okay.
Nice. Once again, holy smokes. So 5 successes. I actually only rolled 1 success on this. So that means you're dumping 1, 2, 3 more momentum back into the momentum pool. Pretty sweet there, Ulrika. What does that look like as these guys are running forward?
I think I'm going to catch one of the sword tips in the stirrup where you put your boot to draw back the crossbow to reload it.
Yep.
Catch one there and just kind of spin him into the other guys who are coming at me.
Awesome. Okay. Next up is attack on Hypatia. So they're all come charging in. Are you going to try and parry as well?
Sure. I have my bow out, but I'll
Okay,
Do a
so
little-
it'll cost you 1 doom for this one. Thank you. Oof. Oh, interesting. All right, so I rolled a complication on this, which means it's going to cost me 1 doom to avoid it. So I lose 1 doom, but I do get some successes on you. So go ahead and give me a parry check, and you have 3 momentum to draw on if you want.
Parry. Okay, am I at parrying? I will just go with 4 dice.
4 dice. Okay, so then we have 1 left in the okay. Actually, at the end of the round, you lose 1 momentum anyway from the pool, so you might as well take them all.
5 dice it is.
Okay.
But Matanga hasn't gone yet, so
Matanga is actually still not seen.
Woo!
Although he did do that screaming thing, so yeah, I guess they would see him.
Where'd that voice come from?
Yeah.
I'll just use 4, and I'll leave a momentum in the pool for Matanga to use.
Okay. 3 successes. All right, so that is enough. There's 1 left over, so 1 goes back into momentum. These guys come running in, and you manage to knock stuff aside. Matanga, the last group come scrambling after you. Let's see if they can make their way up the... Oh, yeah. So they're not attacking you just yet. They're just trying to get up. So you've got 3 of them that next round. Basically, you can't get down to the deck, back down the mast now, because there's 3 vicious slavers who are making their way up towards you. Get over here, they say. All right, end of the round. Momentum pool goes down by 1. And heroes first. What do you guys want to do? Unless I spend doom. And I won't. I want to bank that shit. Who wants to go?
I guess Matanga is going to use this round to hopefully convey information to his group that there are beasts in the water and the ship is going down. So hopefully he'll get someone's attention, even if it's Papias. He'll get someone's attention and let them know what's happening with the ship and what's the threat around it.
Is he staying in the crow's nest? Remember, like, it's this round and then the ship goes down.
Yeah. That's true. I guess hopefully maybe I can use like an acrobatics to get like kind of swing down close to one of my teammates and explain the situation.
I'll even do you one better here. What you could do is you could use the better of acrobatics or sailing to swing down to near where one of the dinghies and scream at your colleagues, "Get on this thing!"
Awesome.
Okay, so
sailing it is. Yeah. Acrobatics not so much.
So there's 1 momentum in the momentum pool right now. You can choose to use either acrobatics or sailing to make this check.
I'll do sailing, and I'm probably going to use that momentum.
Okay. Do you want to give me any doom for extra dice?
Sure. 1 doom. I'll make it.
Nice. Okay. Gracias. Go ahead and make it. Nice. Look at that. Okay. So difficulty would have been a 2, and you rolled 3 successes in total. So what does it look like as he leaps down and grabs this kind of hanging, rope and makes his way over?
I'm going to do this more graceful than Captain Jack Sparrow because I'm not drunk.
Yep.
But I'm going to hopefully grab a good handhold of rope and slide down, maybe even past the guys that are attacking me to either taunt them or distract them.
Yep.
Swing close to the dinghy and then yell at my comrades, "Get on the dinghy before." Actually, I should focus on what's her name.
Delia?
Delia.
Yep.
I'm just going to specifically say, Delia, round up your other slaves and we need to get out of here.
Okay. Papias, he just called you a slave.
Slave! Yeah.
Love it.
I hate you even more.
So that clearly, that has driven you on, Papias, because there's just 1 point that went back into the momentum pool there. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Oh, but you know what? There's now the coming of doom.
The coming of doom.
So what happens, guys, is
Bringeth thy doom.
the Delia steps forward to try and say something, and then the ship kind of and shifts again. She slips to the ground and goes like basically like a slip and slide off the side of the deck and down into the blackened water, only like 5 feet away from you, Matanga. You sort of reach out like no, and she goes flying off, and you see her the robe sort of flies off, so it's just her white skin. She's very easy to see in the water. Who wants to go next?
Hypatia will go next.
I love the pause for doom. What do you want to do, Hypatia?
Ulrika shouting my reward. That's awesome. Yes, we need to get out of here.
Okay.
There's guys in front of me and melee.
Yep.
What's between me and our patron or matron?
There's probably just these guys. So if I spend a doom, I get to make a retaliate action against you and try and make an attack if you move. But it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna.
Well, you could even try that. I'm okay with that. I'm gonna like acrobatically dive out of the way and roll and go for a little bug and try and swing my way off the side of the boat or the ship to try and save our matron. Sorry.
Okay, so I am spending doom to retaliate. So as you're running the gauntlet through these pirates, I'll make my attack. Are you going to defend?
Like parry?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I get my doom back. Okay, I rolled my attack. I've got my successes. Your turn. Go ahead and roll your... Oh, no. You are unfortunately tagged by something. You managed. So just so you guys understand how the mechanics are working here, each success you roll makes their difficulty number 1 higher. So let's see here. Damage is with a cudgel. Oh, and it's got a fantastic effect as well, too. Let's do that. And I rolled no effects. God damn it. All right, so you take 3 points of damage, but I think your armor is 2 or 3.
My armor is 3.
Nice. So there's these cudgels come battering down on you, but you are thankful for your brigandine armor. And even though you try and sort of duck and weave out of the way, they do manage to connect once or twice, but it's nothing worse than a little, welt. So you now continue on with your action. You race over to the dinghy. That was just a move. You still have an action if you like.
I will jump in the dinghy.
Okay.
And do I have to prepare to start lowering it?
You do, yes.
Okay, we'll do that.
So, as you're looking over the side, so yeah, that's what you're focusing on. Yeah. All right. That means next is Ulrika or Papias. What are you doing? Unless I spend doom.
I will go. Can I do an action and still move, or is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to try to use my steely glare on the guys that I was parrying.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, you can either face me or face the sea, and the sea is more forgiving. And then I'm going to go for the dinghy.
It's badass. All right, so there's 1 momentum in the momentum pool right now.
I'm going to use it.
Okay, and I think, is it steely glare? I can't remember what it uses, actually. Hold on. Is there an intimidate skill?
Steely glare.
Threaten. Basic threaten attack.
Threaten, there we go.
Mental stun.
Is it personality command?
Hmm.
I think that's what a threaten attack uses. Here, threaten, 117. What do you know? Persuade skill. When directed at a single enemy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and make a persuade check. There's 1 momentum, and there are 2 more doom you can give me.
I'm going to give you some doom because
Yes.
my target number is not as good on this as I was hoping it would be.
Okay. So go ahead and roll your 5 dice. Let's see what happens. Nice. Hey, and I went, so that's 4. TN is only 1. That means that's 3 net. So you got 3 momentum. Why don't you go ahead and roll damage for your Steely Glare? And then you can choose what you want to do with that momentum. Now, here's one useful thing, guys. Normally, because of scary old Captain Cajero, these things have courage of 3, which means it's kind of like mental armor. However, he's fucking blind now, so they don't get that. Okay, so that's only 1 with no effect. You have 3 more momentum, so you could choose to roll 3 more dice if you want, or you can dump into the momentum pool.
I will roll 2 dice and leave 1 for Papias if he needs one.
Okay, go ahead and make your roll. So roll just 2d6. Let's see here. Does Steely Glare have any effects? Okay, it's just a 5. Oh, nice. So 3, 4. So that's 4 damage and an effect. Does it have an effect? Stun?
Stun.
Nice. Okay, so what stun does is inflicts a staggered condition, which means I got to spend a doom to take more than just a standard or a move action. But 4, let's see here. Do you inflict? Nice. Their resolve is only a 4. So you say your pithy one-liner again, and they all sort of look at each other and then go scampering away from you. They're racing off towards the dinghies themselves. So Ulrika, now you're making your way to the dinghy?
Yeah, I'm going to make my way to the dinghy.
Okay. So you hop into the dinghy as well. We have left Papias.
Do I have any pirates between me and the dinghy now still?
You are still engaged with 2 pirates.
Okay. I'm going to show Delia and raise my shield, and I'm going to try and charge through them, kind of bowl them over and make my way towards the dinghy and where she fell off.
Okay. So go ahead and make a... Well, first off, you've got 1 momentum you could draw on, and there's more doom available. An endless supply of doom.
And this would be melee?
Yes.
Sure, let's go for all 5. Go for broke. This is it. I don't want to go down with the ship.
Yeah, you are really not buoyant.
No.
2. Nice. Okay, so that is enough to connect. I'm not going to do... minions don't try and dodge. So that's 1 net. So you got 1 momentum. Once you roll damage for your shield, and as long as you roll an effect, you'll knock them down. Yes, 2 effects. So what does it look like as you're fucking battering these minions aside?
Raises his shield, charges towards them, and just puts all of his weight into just body checks these guys down to the ground, pinning them. He kind of gives them a little bit of a choke also with the butt of his shield as he's pinning them down, and continues on charging into the dinghy itself.
Nice. You still have 1 momentum left over. With that much damage, I can actually say you'll have killed one of them. So you have crushed the fucking trachea of one of the ones that's gone down with your shield, and then carried on towards the dinghy. As you jump down into the dinghy, the whole thing kind of rocks back and forth because you've got 140 pounds of armor on top of whatever. That might be heavier than it probably is, but whatever. Okay, so we've got everybody in the dinghy. Matanga, you're the only one left to hop in, but as you sort of glance down, you can see, those reptilian forms that you saw before?
Uh-oh.
You see a humanoid-shaped hand wrap itself around Delia and pull her underneath the surface. And you can see it's making its way towards, there's a flash of lightning, and you can see that she and several of the slavers and the slaves who have poured out from the ship, they are being brought to the shore by the water is fucking full of these things. Now, what are you going to do? It's end of the round, guys. Top of the next round. The whole ship kind of begins to go down. Matanga, would you kindly give me, I'm going to impose you to go first here. Give me a sailing check to see if you can get this dinghy in the water before it's dragged down with the ship. Real short adventure.
Otherwise, we might have to use those other characters that are pre-rolled.
Hope you guys made alternate plans tonight because we'll be free pretty soon.
Legends
okay.
of the Five Rings.
So I was thinking that Matanga would maybe drop the dinghy without him inside it, and then and dive into the water near where Delia is struggling.
Yeah.
So I'd say something like, "Get yourselves away from the ship. I'll catch up."
Nice. So, Pappy, you turn around, you're about to say something, and then Matanga kicks the lever, and the whole dinghy kind of splash and lands down in the storm, storm battered waves. I will hold up as well too because I love this. This is the depiction of the scene in the adventure. Oh, and before I forget too, I will say a big. So this is what we're playing today, guys. Is the adventure that was the free RPG a day or RPG. Sorry, free RPG day for 2017 thing. A big thank you to my buddy Greg at Sentry Box because he set this aside for me. I wasn't able to get there, but he knew how much I loved Conan, so he kept this aside for me. So a big thanks to Greg for that. Okay, so Matanga, you dive into the water, and then basically as Matanga does that and disappears beneath those the blackened waves around you guys, the whole ship sort of sloughs to the side and then begins to be swallowed by the raging waves around you, and your dinghy is sort of carried away from the thing and is now loose on the sea. Let's see here. Would you kindly give me, Matanga, an athletics check to sort of situate yourself in the water here? Difficulty is going to be 2.
Okay. Oh.
Whoa. All right. So what this means, this actually is allows me to bring up another interesting mechanic. So there is a mechanic called fatigue. And what fatigue does is basically it lowers your vigor. So it makes it so you're more easily injured and more easily, more easily seriously injured, I guess, is a thing. So Matanga, you suffer 2 fatigue. These waves are way more fearsome, and there are unseen like currents and stuff that are pulling you around. You've unfortunately misjudged just how fucking dangerous the seas are. However, Matanga, if that doesn't sound heroic for you, you have 3 fortune points, and you could blow one of those to gain an automatic success.
I kind of like that idea.
So, do you have any points in athletics? Like focus or expertise?
I just wrote it. 1 and 1.
Oh, nice. So what that means, when you spend a fortune point, it means you act as if you rolled a 1. Because you have an expertise of 1, that means you get 2 successes from that 1 roll, which means you ignore what I said. You dive in, and for a moment you think you're going to be, pulled away and you're going to lose control, but you learn, you've learned on rougher waves than this, and you manage to bring yourself to the surface, and you can see, unfortunately, the things that are bearing Delia away. Her head sort of pops above water, and she screams, and you can see a clear view of her being pulled away, and this arm that you saw before, it's not reptilian. It's covered in blackish gray scales like a fish. And then she's pulled under the waves again, and they're heading straight for the shore nearby. Unfortunately, faster than you. Whatever is underneath the water, as born to the water as you pride yourself, these things seem truly creatures of the sea or dwellers of the deep. Now, who wants to go next? Matanga's in the water. We got Hypatia, Ulrika, and Papias in the dinghy that is currently not controlled by anybody. So what do you guys want to do?
How many people need to be at the oars on the dinghy? How big is it?
So what you can do is one person can make a sailing check, and then each person who wants to aid that person will add a D20 to the roll.
All right, fellas, who's our best sailor here? It ain't me.
Matanga.
Well, besides Matanga. Who's our pinch hitter?
It's probably going to be Hypatia, I would guess. I know.
Okay.
Ulrika. Is Ulrika?
I've got one focus in sailing and a target number of 10.
Well, okay.
I've got
So
a
you're
target
all sort of
number
looking at each
11.
other and like, who knows how to sail?
Yeah. I've got an 8 with 0, so I'm not taking leader on this one.
Okay, I'll get behind the oars then.
Okay.
Ulrika, you can steer.
So you throw your bow over your back, and then grab one of the oars, and you're trying to orient yourself. Papias, what are you doing?
Sit down.
I'm going to be
roar.
shouting coordinates. Like, where
No, sit down and row. Sit down and row, man.
No. That's what Ulrich's going to do.
No, Ulrika's
Okay.
going
I'm
to
gonna shout orders.
Okay.
So
So
Ulrika's going to be at the
listen
helm,
here.
you buffoon.
Ulrika, you've already got 3 dice because of Hypatia helping you. But here's the cool thing with aid dice is you can they don't count towards your 5 dice limit. So you could still
nice.
give me 3 doom if you want, and still benefit from rolling 6 dice.
Well,
Do you know it's the hard sell on doom all the time?
Yeah, we got to stop giving you so much doom.
It you know what? Mechanically speaking, it's kind of necessary to make like the big boss fights and shit like that, make them interesting, because I need that resource to draw on it by that point.
you know what? I'm going to give you a 3 doom, and I'm going to roll 6.
Let's see how high I can get.
We need to get out of here.
Okay, so you're rolling 6 dice then. Let's see how. Hey, nice. Oh, and a complication. It looks like yes.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Because he's
So do I
not
like
helping.
hit Matanga in the head with an oar or something?
I'm helping. I'm guiding
Guys,
you
I'm
in
here
this
to
story.
win. No, what I think is
But in
going
the
to
middle of
happen?
the boat.
So with only 1 complication, you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spend some doom to ratchet up that complication to something a little more dangerous. Matanga, what are you heading towards the shore? Are you heading towards the boat? What were you intending to do? You can see that tall blonde woman seems to be a more capable sailor than what she expected. No doubt she's from the Aesir. Is that what Ulrika is an Aesir?
No, she's Brythunian.
Brythunian. Oh, okay. So you're landlocked. That's interesting. That I guess maybe rivers. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been a bandit for a while, so I'm just going to assume I picked up some stuff.
Okay. So sorry. So Matanga, what are you thinking of doing? There's something that's going to happen. I want to judge based on what you are intending.
He's going to sort of assess the situation, and because as much as he's motivated by love, he also wants to be rational about whether he can swim as fast as like the dinghy can move. So if the dinghy's moving towards Delia, he'll probably try to get back on the dinghy.
Okay. That does seem to be sort of the way they're going. But what I'm going to get you to do is I'm going to spend some doom here in connection with the complication that's just been triggered. Something is grabbing at your foot, your right foot, from under the water. You're sort of treading water and something is grabbing at you. This is going to be a contested athletics check. So you are currently sitting at 2 in your athletics dice pool. There's no momentum, unfortunately, but you can give me doom if you want to roll extra dice. What do you want to do?
You love your doom.
I do love my doom.
I'll give you just 1 doom.
Okay, so you're rolling 3 dice. Go ahead and give me an athletics check with 3 dice, please, and I'll roll mine. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, so what happens is you can feel a cold and clammy vice-like grip kind of go around your foot, and at first you think it's like a fish or something kind of brushing up against you, or maybe like something biting you. That's your worry, shark. But it feels like a hand is grabbing and trying to pull you under. And for a brief moment, you kind of you're under, and all you can see is the reflection or the darkened waters all around you. Something pulling you down. You kick it with all your panicked fury and kick yourself loose, and come back above. We tied, but heroes always tie unless I spend doom. And I'm not spending doom.
Yay!
You come on. That doesn't count as your action. That's just the complication that Ulrika triggered. So the dinghy begins to start making its way. It's righted itself. It's going along. Papias is screaming out directions. Matanga, what do you want to do?
I'll swim towards the dinghy. I'll get back. I'll regroup,
Okay.
and hopefully together we can save Delia.
Excellent. So, Matanga, you can go ahead and give me an athletics check. Papias isn't doing anything else right now. So, Papias, you could, in theory, help him out of the water once he reaches the dinghy. That would give him a dice, or you can choose to just let him fucking do it on his own.
I'm gonna let him struggle.
So,
I don't
Matanga,
like him.
Matanga is go ahead, give me a athletics check. There's no momentum, unfortunately, but you can give Doom to get extra dice.
I'll just do the 2.
Just the 2. Okay, so you need 2 successes here.
And with my last breath, I curse Papias. No.
Oh, sounds like some fortune dice.
Oh, now
going to be
you want to
used.
spend? You could spend another fortune point if you want.
Sure.
Okay. You yeah, so you succeed again. You get to the side and you manage to pull yourself out of the water, but you're like and I think it's that panicked moment when like you know, it's that thing of like where, you know, swimming with sharks, like the worst. What's that story from Jaws about like the worst moment was waiting to be for your turn to come out of the water? When the Indianapolis went down, the story that Robert Shaw's character gives. You sort of get to the edge, and you can the sense memory of that thing grabbing your foot has you wanting to get out of the water, so you throw yourself almost out of the blackened water, and you tumble to the deck of the little dinghy. Papias, you see this happen. Matanga, you can see that there are some superficial scratches and shit on your foot. So, let's do one more round of seamanship here, guys, or sailing, I should say. You can choose to have either Ulrika or Matanga take the lead, and then if Papias is not rowing, then it's whoever makes the check is going to make it with 2 extra dice.
Tanga should make the check.
Papias will see that we're struggling, and he'll step in this time.
Okay, you
Reluctantly.
sling your shield across your back, your sword, and you start trying to help control. So who wants to make the check? You're making it with 5 dice.
I think Matanga should make it.
Okay.
Matanga's our sailor.
Okay, so you quickly take charge, getting up. Yep, nice. Okay, so you have no difficulty getting it to the shore. So in amongst this stuff, there's this, you keep seeing flashes and hints of whatever is in the water as the lightning kind of crashes across the sky. And there's a moment as you're getting closer to shore when you're still about to maybe 25 yards or so off from the shore. I guess the other thing you should note is that there are quite a few other dinghies that are making their way to shore as well. It looks like a bunch of the pirates and slavers have made their way there as well. As you are, there's sort of a moment where there's another. You're trying to keep your eye, Papias, clearly on where Hypatia, where Delia was in the water, and there's sort of like a flash, and you see her in darkness, flash. You see her a little further forward, darkness, flash. They're gone. Whatever it was that was in the water, you don't know where they've gone. And as you guys come up to the shore, you're pretty much thrown on the shore by the force of the waves. And you guys scramble out of the boat. Now, what you see is there's a group of about 25 slavers that seem to have made it from the ship that are kind of collecting around on one side of the deck. You are no doubt badass heroes, but 25 slavers themselves may be more than even you could handle. What do you guys want to do?
Fun.
The shore leads up about maybe about 20 yards up to this thick jungle canopy that seems to stretch far off in either direction. where you guys have come ashore is a small kind of rocky, like what do you call it, a cove of some kind, where there's jagged rocks that sort of mark one end of the beach, and then jagged rocks at the far end of the beach as well, with the pirates accumulating on the beach to your, to the right of where you've come, or you've reached landfall. So what are you guys going to do?
Hypatia wants to shoot an arrow and run into the woods.
Pappy's is going to recommend we should regroup and take stock of ourselves and what we have, and then look for Delia after the storm has passed.
I say we get past these pirates into the woods.
Yes,
The
exactly.
pirates seem pretty intent on. They're aware that you are not. That you guys made your way to shore as well. They seem to be reacting, sort of like you can see them pointing and whatever.
All right, I jump out of the boat and head for the woods.
Okay. Let's do a couple of stealth checks, guys. So, actually, no, fuck that. I mean, I think with your numbers and their numbers, you guys would be able to make it into the woods without check. The only thing I'm going to get you to do is each give me an athletics check against target number or DN of 1. This is just going to reflect how exhausted you are as you're sort of running into the jungle. Nice. Hypatia has no difficulty with it. Oh no, Matanga, did you roll another complication? Oh god.
And no success because he's tired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's swimming.
All right. Jeez. Ulrika rolled 1 momentum on that whole thing. Let's see here.
Can you do something to aid someone who fails?
No. I mean, you could share fortune points if you want. I'm fine with you guys doing that. It's just you're giving up your resource for that. I think, let me just see here. This is really only a minor complication. It's only 1. I'm not going to dump more doom in there. But let me see here. I just want to... Complications. 6. Okay. Because I think what I'm going to do is it's just going to be like a tweaked ankle or something like that. Some minor thing.
The ankle that was like slightly wounded, maybe.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so that's what happens. You it turns out that there's maybe that in the force of in the act of kicking yourself free, you actually may have twisted it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bank that, and I'm going to impose that on your next athletics check. It'll be sort of like a callback to this scene where you try and support yourself on that weight, and you're like, oh shit. Okay, so we'll do that. So otherwise, you guys make your way off deep into the jungle. You find that it seems to like never fucking end as well too. Our camera, maybe as you're running through this thick undergrowth, stumbling along, the camera kind of pans off to see the pirates who try to give chase, and then we see the giant, the light of the moon cast through some of the shadows or the thick clouds above, and we fade away. We awake, or rather, we now cut to a fairly beautiful, actually rich, thick green jungle growth, and we see our 4 heroes all sleeping in this sort of clearing where there is the ruined or crumbling remnants of a wall against which you have all sort of made camp. Who do you think is first to awaken?
Probably me. I don't trust any of these people.
Okay. So Ulrika is the first up, and you see that Papias, Matanga, and Hypatia are all dead asleep, and then you sort of, as soon as any of you makes noise, you all kind of startle awake and study each other. You've been sleeping for months. or not months. You've been sleeping for weeks at least on the. I'm trying to think how long it would be you've been traveling. It's weeks at least. You've been traveling for weeks on that fucking slave ship. So there's probably a bit of like the waking up here in this, lush and gorgeous scenery is really jarring for you. So you kind of look around. Those of you wearing armor, I'm assuming, have taken it off to sleep, because otherwise you can feel free to keep it on, but you're going to wake up with fatigue equal to your armor score. So
No, that's okay.
Okay. So you get up and look around. There's fresh morning dew that's formed on your armor, the metal. What do you guys say? What do you guys do?
Do we really need to find her?
Yes, we do. It's the first order of business.
Says why?
I'm broke.
Well, yeah, for one, she's your meal ticket.
I'm alive.
Two,
I'm not
we
on a
gave her
slave
word.
ship anymore.
I'll ask
We do.
Papias, did you see her come out of the water?
I saw her bobbing, and I saw something strange shape. It looked like it had carried her away.
So we don't even know where she is. We
Yes.
trouncing around
No,
a
but she
strange
might be
island?
alive.
Fools.
There were
Strange
strange
island full of
humanoids.
pirates for us to kill.
Sorry, what was that, Adam? I think you were trying to say something.
I'll say there were strange humanoid fish. I felt a scaly hand grab me.
He shows you their wounds, fairly fresh, on his right ankle. Now, why don't you guys, let's see here. Matanga, you can give me a sailing check. And I think, let's see here, what else might you guys, what might apply here? Anyone have lore or trained in lore?
I am trained in lore.
Nice.
Yeah,
Go ahead and give me a. Okay, you guys can give me lore checks. Let's see if anyone has heard stories about this. Whoa, Papias, look at you. Nice. The 3 successes for Papias, 2 for Matanga.
Nope.
None for Ulrika, none for Hypatia. So the ladies, unfortunately, are not contributing much here. Papias, while you come, where is he? Are you from Aquilonia or are you from elsewhere?
Aquilonia, but grew up around Samaria.
Grew up around Samaria. Okay, cool. So, I think this is just part of your training, right? You remember stories from your tutors that you studied with in your youth, who told you stories of the ancient Cyclopean ruins that populate the lost islands off the Savage Coast. It's said that the ruins themselves were constructed by some kind of race that were not men, but that in the face of the rise of men retreated into the blackened deeps of the sea. And Matanga, you've heard stories around the various, like in the portside taverns. Old sailors have shared stories of not mermaids, but these hideous things that live in remote communities in the coastal regions, savage communities, either on forgotten islands or hidden deep inland, that owe their ancestry to something deeper and darker and more degenerate than man. Those things you guys have heard of, referred to as the dwellers of the deep.
All right. So upon seeing Matanga's wounds, I'll say that's what triggered my memory on that lore. And I'll start relaying this information to the others.
Matanga,
And,
would you give me a discipline check, please?
Discipline. Where is it?
I think it's under willpower. Is there a willpower?
Yep. Yep. Willpower, discipline. Yep. You are
okay, great. Yeah. Look at that. I got steel trap. If only I can remember the other skills. All right. So, Matanga, knowing that that's what was grabbing at your feet and that you were so close to being dragged down into the, like, as is probably the fear of many sailors, you, I imagine, have that kind of love-hate relationship with the sea. You know that it can be, great source of joy, but also it is a incredibly dangerous place. And realizing that these things may have, that's what may have been trying to drag you down to their nameless and blasphemous masters, you actually do take 1 point of mental damage.
Okay. Where is that?
That'll be on your character sheet. It's called, I don't remember. Let me take a look here. It is less than a steel trap with that. Despair.
Oh, despair. Okay. Yeah. Great. And that once that matches your resolve, then that's when bad things happen. Kind of?
Yes, that's right. That's when you start suffering traumas. That's when your mind starts retreating into the safety of insanity. Okay, so you know that Matanga seems to sort of blanch at the your mention of this Papias, and as much as you have your disagreements with this slaver, this is the first time you've seen him shaken by anything. He is a hard man. Ulrika and Hypatia, you probably pick up on this as well. So what do you guys want to do?
So I'm going to say what I say in the chat there to Papias in sort of a shaky voice, trying to like mend fences with him.
Okay. Love it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. We should put our differences aside and look for Delia. There's evil at play here on this island.
Matanga, that's some pretty good role playing. You get a fortune point back.
Yes.
So, what's the plan, guys? You're not quite sure looking around. Does anyone have, is it survival? Is that the skill?
There is a survival skill.
Yeah, give me a survival check. Let's see if you can figure out what direction you came from, at least.
I grew up in the Boissonian marches. I could survive the best of them.
Yeah. You faced Cimmerian hordes coming down, living on their borders, sandwiched between the bright kingdoms of Aquilonia and the Cimmerian wilderness. Ulrika, nice job. Both of you guys, good job. Papias, rolled a complication. Love it. Love it, love it. So, I will... Okay, so here's what's going to happen, actually. So you guys all look around. Hypatia, you're able to find the route that you guys have gone down. Papias, you're sort of looking around and trying to see where you guys have situated yourself and like where you came in. Remember I mentioned there was the sort of like crumbled wall that you were sleeping near? You sort of are walking past that and you step on something and it's moss that's covered this completely desiccated fallen log. So it gives way underneath your foot. You sort of have reach out to grab in your, have you put your armor back on yet? Or are you, like, would that be first?
No, not at this point.
Okay, cool. So you just sort of stumble forward. Your hand grabs the wall. It pulls back some of the vines and growth that have covered this. And it exposes a carving there. And what seems to be staring back at you is some hideous combination of man and sea life. And I need you to make a discipline check as well, please.
All right.
This is sort of like your... And again, guys, you can still... For these checks, you can feel free to give me Doom to get extra dice, or you can just roll as is.
Yeah. Just seeing here. I get some bonus on discipline. I get to re-roll a d20 on discipline tests.
Oh, sweet. So effectively, you've got 3d6 all right. So it's only 2 successes, and then basically you're just trying to like resist 2 points of despair.
Okay, so just roll the straight roll now and then
Yep.
re-roll after.
Oh, hey, do you have courage?
Yeah, I think I do. Let's see here. Yeah, it's courageous. I get to re-roll 1d20 on discipline tests.
But no, I think it's called. Isn't it called courage? It's like your
You would also have
armor against despair.
yeah, you would have a courage soak equal to the number of ranks in
Oh yeah,
focus.
2 courage.
Fuck yeah! So really, you don't need to roll. You see this and you're sort of startled for a second, but you're well, I'll let you know. How does Papias sort of process this exposure? It's like a boogeyman he's suddenly seeing.
Yeah, he's taken off guard by this when he brushes the vines aside, and he does stumble back. And again, the stories and the lore that he was fed growing up flashes through his mind, and he sees the visions of that grotesque thing that flashing out of the water the night before, calling or taking Delia down. But then he composes himself when he thinks of her.
Nice, okay. And then you hear from one side of the clearing, Hypatia call out, "Here, we came from here." Now, I'm not sure how much that necessarily helps you guys, but you do know at least the direction that you would have come, and perhaps you could follow it back to that beach. But where do you want to go? You're looking around, and the overgrowth is so thick here that you can't really see where you're going, although in the center of the island, there does seem to be high ground that's stretching out, like a peak right in the middle of this island.
It does make some sense that if we're going to find Delia, even if these creatures that grabbed her in the water are capable of breathing underwater or swimming adeptly, she's not. They'd have to bring her ashore at some point. There'd be tracks. We could go back and find where they came ashore and track them from there.
The place where you came ashore is...
Except it's also probably overrun by pirates right now.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, the cove that you came ashore in is probably, judging from how far you've come and the size of that mountain and whatnot, is probably only a small portion of the shore. So you're not even sure if, because the weather was so bad. I mean, what you could do is go back to that place and see, kind of, judge whether this is the only place these things could have come ashore, or whether the ship would have rocked outside of the cove, and then the ship's all...
Alternatively, we could go for high ground and get a view of the land and try and get a feel for where to go from there.
What do you guys think?
Papias agrees with that.
Yeah, high ground.
Okay.
Scope things out.
I'm sure Matanga is quite happy to get away from the shore at this point. Okay. So you guys start making your way towards the shore. Are there any... Or towards the mountain. And we sort of see this cut scene of you guys, hiking your way along. There's... and this is savage and primordial jungle. There's parts where we see you guys lowering yourself down into a crevasse that is formed where there's fallen trees, and then you're carefully climbing your way out. You're climbing, or you're walking through, this stand of trees and jungle that's perfectly, where the floor is almost completely free of detritus, and you hear the screaming of monkeys that are running around in the trees above you, and all of you sort of prepare yourselves for combat. And then we now cut to you guys making your way along to what looks like to be the higher ground. There's this large pool that is formed at the base of this waterfall. The waterfall seems to form. It's only dropping down about maybe 30 feet, but there does seem to be a on the far side of this pool. There is like some scree path that would lead further up and would give you a good vantage point.
Yonder path. That's where we should go.
Okay. So you guys start making your way across. I want to see one of my favorite little reveals here.
Favorite reveal.
Doom pool just went down by one. So what happens is, as you guys are making your way across this pool, you sort of have been testing it I think with like maybe Papias' sword and Matanga's scimitar. What is the marching order as you guys? What you find is that there is sort of the pool itself seems quite deep, and in fact, the roiling water seems to conceal whatever depths, like whatever might be hidden in the depths. But there does appear to be a point where it becomes basically a creek that runs off further, and you can make your way across this about 20-foot wide creek. So we're going to pick up the action with you guys partway across. But what is the marching order?
I always think of Papias being first.
Okay. So Papias is leading the first. Who is second?
I'll be behind Papias. I know the archers like it in the back, but I like to be sneaky, so I'll try to be close to Papias enough, but like on guard with him.
Yep.
When he sinks, you can pull him up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. So, Ulrika and Hypatia, who's at the end then?
Well, until we need someone to lead through the brush, I can hang back.
So you're waiting for them to get across, and then you're going to go?
Yeah.
So Ulrika, I guess you're sort of at the back. So Hypatia's waiting on the shore. Ulrika is Papias, then Matanga, then Ulrika are making their way across. It's at that point that Hypatia, you're sort of looking around and studying the jungle. This is so different than anything you've experienced before. It seems that everywhere there is life in this untamed land. There's birds that are of colors you've never even imagined. There's the sound of insects constantly buzzing that seem had to have a endless hunger for your blood and flesh. There is a humidity that has set in here as well too, guys, that is for everyone other than Matanga is punishing. And as you're looking across, you almost miss. At first you think it's a trick of the light, and you see some massive black form moving in the water beneath the pool. Because of the rippling current, or the sort of rippling patterns that are coming from the falling waterfall, you don't really see it until it is it a log? Where would such a massive log have come from, and why is it going towards? And then you see this one massive yellow eye appear, and you're about to call out a command when Papias, Ulrika, and Matanga, you see an enormous reptilian monster surface, and this enormous maw opens up a long, narrow series of tooth, or a long, narrow mouth full of razor-sharp, dagger-like teeth opens up as it cries out, and the jaw slams shut. It is about one zone away from you guys and closing fast. Matanga, you have seen these things in the land of Stygia, along the river Styx, but nothing this size. This seems to have been something that may have been young when the world was young, and the empires of Acheron and Stygia still stood glorious. This is the largest crocodile you have ever seen, and it is closing on you guys. Heroes go first unless I spend doom.
Spend
I'm not spending doom. Who's up first?
How deep is the water?
Where you guys are is probably only about like maybe halfway through your shin, up to your shin at the deepest point. But that pool that this thing is in is it's really difficult to. You couldn't tell how deep it was. It seemed to get quite deep, quite fast. And this thing is, its massive tail swooping back and forth, propelling it towards you guys.
How big, compared to like a human, how big would this?
It's probably from tip of nose to the tip of the tail is about 2/3 the length of the boat you just came off of.
Oh boy.
Huge.
Oh.
Who's up first? That is always an option.
Run away! Run away! Some things aren't meant to be fought.
Yeah, right.
Oh, they wouldn't put it in the game if we couldn't kill it, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave's got some recent experience with my OSR sensibilities, so
Tell that to Sir Albus. Sir, shout out to Sir Albus, Brent. Sorry if you're watching.
everyone
Yeah.
pour a little bit of their drink for Brent's PC.
Yeah. Cheers to the late Sir Albus, sworn sword of our cantrell.
Oh, he died to an amphibian, not a reptile, so this will be breaking new ground.
Yeah. Several, was it 8 giant toads?
Yeah, 8 giant toads. Okay, so who's up first? If not, I'm going to spend some doom and get some crocodile action going.
Hey, she'll shoot as soon as she's got it comes, close enough to the surface, or
It's definitely on the surface. You can see it.
wow.
It is,
Fire away.
So yeah, it's probably it's actually at your optimum range right now. So be medium.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think there's some range
do you wish
action.
to? There's no momentum yet. Do you want to spend any? What do you call it?
I'll spend some doom.
Okay. How many do you want?
I'm going to give you 2.
Nice. Crocodiles love doom. Okay,
Nice.
so wow, nice. That's an extra success as well. So you've got a net of 3. So 3 momentum. So you fire your shot. There are, as you're sort of eyeing up your shot too, you can see that this thing's hide is full of discolorations of scars, as if like generations of hunters have tried to bring this thing down. Go ahead and roll damage.
So with the momentum created,
No, you can choose. You roll damage, and you can choose to roll more damage afterwards if you want.
okay.
Holy shit! Awesome.
Did you just kill this
roll.
thing?
Lord. I was checking its armor here. Holy smokes! Okay, so you.
How did that happen? I don't quite understand.
Incredible. So
2,
you've
2,
got,
1, 2,
you
1,
rolled a
2,
bunch of
2.
2s. Wow. All right, so you have 2. Now, this thing's hide is really thick and tough. What you could do is spend momentum to make this
Penetrate?
penetrating shot.
Yeah. 1 R. Plus?
Yep. R means repeating. You could spend as much momentum as you want.
Okay. Ignore the amount of soak equal to twice the momentum spent. How much momentum did I have? 2?
You have 3.
Crap, I'll use it all. Sorry, guys. This is just too good to ignore.
That's
No, go
amazing.
for it.
Okay. So you fire, you line up the shot, and it seems like you have a fondness for eyes. That giant yellowed eye, which has now trained itself on your allies, it's racing forward, and you loose your arrow, flies forward, and sinks halfway into this thing's eye. Unfortunately, it sort of skits off one of the armor plating, doesn't sink in its brain, and the tip of the arrow maybe comes out like the tip of its head. And once again, that enormous maw, which could easily snap a horse in 2, opens up and rears itself back, and screams out again. So, who's going next?
Can I try to scramble back the creek a little bit?
Yep.
And I'm going to shoot with my crossbow.
Give me a because of the difficulty of the terrain. Give me an athletics check. It's a DN difficulty 1. Nice. So that's 2 successes. You generate 1 momentum.
Excellent. And I will spend
I'm gonna have to refresh once I got
momentum
this.
on my shot.
My roll 20 is lagging like a motherfucker. I'm just gonna hit refresh. You can go ahead and roll for your attack though if you like. Let me know if you're giving me any doom.
I'm going to give you 2 doom and use my 1 momentum.
Awesome. Okay. So I've got 29 doom now. I'll just recheck that. The page is unresponsive. No shit. Thanks, roll 20. Okay, so go ahead and make your attack roll. You'll have to tell me what you roll because I
got two successes.
2 successes. Awesome. Okay, so that is definitely a. Here, I'm going to exit the page and I'll just go back in afterwards. This is usually around the 2-hour mark, give or take, when it stops working. Okay, so let me just quickly reopen here. All right, so you shoot. Go ahead and roll damage, Chad. You've got 1 momentum.
Nice.
All right, and I could re-roll dice, but then I would have to. I might get 0, so I'm just going to spend my momentum die on. On damage.
Another. You remember you can. You could also spend your whatchamacallit, your fortune to gain an extra 1. Did you roll? Because you only rolled 2 dice, didn't you? Or did you give me? Did you roll 5?
No, I spent the momentum I gained from my athletics.
Oh, to gain that. Okay.
Yeah. So I did roll 5 dice.
You did roll. Okay. Because if you had 1 left over, you could have spent your fortune point to get that extra 1. It's subject to that 5 dice cap as well. Okay, cool. So you did 3 points of damage.
And a
Here's the
special
awesome thing, though. Because of Hypatia's amazing shot, mechanically, it has suffered enough vigor so that every extra hit is another wound. Where does your shot go? Its mouth is sort of like and a roar, and kind of going back and forth.
I'm gonna say it. You know what? It's probably still roaring from Hypatia's near blinding shot, so I'm going to say I got it right in the roof of the mouth.
So your bolt sinks into the soft and pink flesh in its mouth. And again, this thing even roars back even further. It's the torrent of water, or the raging sort of water around this thing as it writhes back and forth, rivals the disturbance of the waterfall even. Wow. Okay, so next up is either Matanga or Papias. What are you guys doing?
Papias is going to let out a cry and charge at this thing.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you go charging in. Give me an athletics check as well. It's just a TN1. Oh, hold on. I gotta fucking share screens. I'm just showing a picture of me and my dog. Sorry, folks. For, anyone listening at home. Fucking Bush League streamer. Jeez. There we go. Sorry about that, folks.
Athletics, hey? Athletics. Go ahead and take 3 doom.
Yes.
Because I am not very good at this.
Okay.
All right, there we go.
Beautiful. So actually, that's 1 momentum you generate.
Okay. So I will use my momentum then on my melee attack I'm going to make.
Awesome.
And I'll give you 2 more doom.
Yes.
Doom.
Every time that happens, I want to do an Emperor impression. Good. Use your aggressive feelings.
Okay.
Oh, man. Okay, so that is fantastic. This thing is, I'm going to say, is too distracted by pain to bother making a any kind of reaction here. So,
okay.
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage. Oof. So you have 2 momentum, and you roll 2 special as well, too. Do you want to use that momentum for damage? Do you want to use it for penetrating? Do you want to?
Yeah, let's use it for. So 1 point ignores 2 points of target soak. So let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. So that is. It does take another. I think it's. I'll look it up afterwards. But I think that it requires every hit you get and every 5 points does another wound to it. The reason I mention that is because if you're able to do 2 more points of damage, which say you could get on an extra dice, you would do 2 more wounds to this thing and kill it.
So that could be a swift action, additional standard action this turn.
Well, you still have 1 momentum left over because you only spent 1 on penetrating.
Yep.
Do you want to give me a D6 roll?
Sure.
Let's see here. So it's unfortunately 1 in 6 chance here because you need to roll 2.
Let's do it.
Here we go.
Oh, nothing.
Robbed. All right.
Nothing.
Nada. So you do, however, suffer one. So you stab into this thing's maw, and this thing is like blood is pouring out of the inside of this thing's mouth, and the water is sort of battering up against you as this thing sort of tries to pull itself back. Matanga, you are still up. What do you want to do? Bring this thing down?
So I've switched to the spear to kind of keep it at a distance, hopefully.
Okay.
I'm going to try and jab at it with my spear.
Yeah. Okay.
So I imagine... So there's no carryover.
Looks like there's one momentum left over.
I'll use that momentum.
Okay. Want to give me any doom?
No.
I think 34 buys me like 34 more crocodiles, guys. Like, this could be a really interesting encounter. Okay. One is enough to hit. No momentum, unfortunately, but let's see what you do for damage. And I think what do you call it? The spear has the piercing effect, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Sweet, yeah. Nice. Oh, 3 points of damage. Now, do you really think, Matanga, that a measly 1 point of damage is enough to bring down this prehistoric terror?
Do I think this?
Do you think that's the case?
Is that what he's down to? Or?
Well, I'm asking you, so you've only done 1 point of damage here. Do you really think that measly little bit of damage is enough to bring this thing down? Something that terrorized the great-grandfathers of the inhabitants of this island?
Yes.
So,
No.
Should I use... you said you can use...
I'm just setting you up here, because yes, it is. You do 1 point of damage, that's enough to do another wound. It's 5 wounds on this fucking thing. How does Matanga kill this mighty beast?
Keeping it at a distance while it's roaring in pain from all the other attacks.
Yep.
I'm going to thrust my spear up, hopefully through the top of its mouth.
Yep.
Into its puny brain.
Nice. So your time in Stygia has no doubt spent some time crocodile hunting. So cannily, you keep yourself low, knowing that you need to get an upward thrust to get into this thing's brain pan. And as your now erstwhile ally, Papias, stabs his mighty sword into there and pulls it back, it roars towards you, its head leaving an open point, and you leap in, stabbing in and out. It's not a deep wound, but it is sufficient to suddenly bring its roar to a close. And instead, you hear the sickening death rattle as it drops limp into the water. Its body still twitching back and forth in muscle as the dead brain still transmits to its powerful ancient muscles. But it roars and threatens no longer. The beast of the waterfall is dead. So, you guys stand back this enormous crocodile down, and that's when you hear it. Drums from somewhere deep in the jungle. And Papias and Matanga, you feel a cold pit in your stomach. And now we will take our 5-minute break, guys. Grab our drinks and beverages and come back and conclude tonight's adventure. So I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys.
Okay. Ruby. Oh, you're wild. Another hour or so.
How's it going, Chad?
Oh, all right. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. I'm glad to be. That's the weekend. It's been some heavy lifting all this week, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this week felt long for me. But I'm dog sitting, so bonus.
Nice.
Even though she doesn't like me much.
Are you writing much these days?
More in the last week or so. Sandra and I decided to do dueling endings for our co-authored book.
Oh, nice.
So we basically said, okay, here's how we see the last few chapters going. You write the end and I'll write the end, and then we'll fight it out to see which parts go in and which bits we keep. So that's got me writing more.
That's good.
Doing
Awesome.
some game writing, so that's fun.
You and Sandra need beta readers. I'm sure we've got a couple here.
Cool. Yeah, we've got a long road to hoe to edit this book before we'll be willing to let anybody else take a look at it yet. But
All right, sorry guys. So Jaden says hi to Dave.
Hey, Jaden.
So, all right, what are you guys doing now? Oh, is Adam back? I can't see Adam.
Yep. Back.
Okay, perfect. The drums somewhere off in the jungle. What are you guys doing?
Are we still going to take that path and go high ground to see where it would?
Nope.
Do we think that's away from the drums or towards the drums?
It is. It seems as if it's sort of. It's a little past. It would be in the foothills on the far side of this mountain, probably.
We should investigate.
Does anybody have any idea? Does that sound like some kind of sacrificial drums? Anybody know?
Yes, so we should go.
Matanga probably knows about the having sailed these treacherous waters. There's all sorts of degenerate strains of man that live in here, who sacrifice the unlucky souls who find themselves washed on their shores to whatever forgotten and ancient beasts and demons that answer their prayers. And these things that Papias and Matanga know of, they answer to something even older than their forgotten race.
None of that bodes well for the woman.
For the paycheck.
Yeah. Who cares about the pirates?
Yeah. So what are you guys going to do?
Scenario is leading the pirates to them so that we can rescue Delia in the confusion.
Papias recommends we go there. She may be there, and if she is, she's in danger.
And if she's not, and we put ourselves in danger, we'll risk not being able to rescue her.
I'm not saying we march into their camp or village. We can scout it out first. Hypatia.
Fair enough.
We scout out so that we can see where we can bring down the hammer of Papias best.
Okay, let me show you. Because I actually think I've got.
Papias likes that. He agrees.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. This, guys, is what your journeys appears to be. Giant, bizarre growths, thick, green undergrowth. The gorilla with a sword is not in this one. But it's a pretty cool
Is that
picture.
the next encounter? Not the next encounter? Okay.
And let me see here. What is this the one I was going to see this? No. Okay. Let me just cut and paste our momentum pool, or rather the doom pool here. Oh, you know what? Is that no? Okay, good. I can actually get all of us here. Get over to this page. All right, so okay, there we go, guys. Now, we see a couple, like a cut scene of you guys kind of making your way across, and it's actually, while it seems like it's not going to be that far, it because of the amount of times you have to double back and the difficult, undergrowth, the treacherous paths that you're having to cut your way through. It's very, very late in the day. The sun hangs very low in the western sky as you make your way towards the source of the drums, and the drums continue throughout the day in a maddening, continuous rhythm. As you reach the sort of the side of a hill looking down into this settlement, you can see that there are half sunken in a lagoon lies the crumbling ruins of some ancient city, all built with greasy black stone. There are ramshackle houses, astonishingly crude by comparison to the artistry and genius that would have went into these more permanent and aged structures. So there are houses of rough, crude manufacture. It's mud and daub walls and crude roofs of thatch set aside or set next to these structures, larger, of fallen and tumbled stone and strange angles. The only standing structure seems to be this enormous black ziggurat that stands in the center of these ruins. And it's from beneath there that the drums seem to be, or somewhere within it, that the drums seem to be pounding. At the, near the, near the top of the ziggurat, there seem to be openings from which the drums are echoing out as if amplified by something within. But the thing you notice, Matanga, that is perhaps most unnerving in this bizarre and flooded community, not a single sign of life. At least, not above ground or above water. What are you guys doing?
Matanga, you've proven yourself useful previously. You should go scout out ahead.
Matanga is to this community as Canary is to coal mine.
I will do so. I know that Ulrika is also sneaky. Are you sneaky as well?
Pretty sneaky.
So am I. Pretty much everybody but Papias.
Yeah, you stay here, Papias.
Yeah.
I'll wait
hear
here
us-
for the sign.
If you hear us fighting, come running.
Sure, I'll stealth forward, try to scout out the area, and see if there's any kind of entrances. Is there anything on top of the ziggurat, like a temple on top?
The whole structure itself seems as if it may be some kind of religious edifice.
Okay. Great. I will stealth my way in there and see what I can see. I have really high observation. Would that
Okay.
be useful right now for looking around? And
It will be a little useful. So what happens is, Pappas, you're just staying above and kind of waiting for them to come back and collect you.
Yeah, or any sort of sign for me to charge in there.
Okay. So you guys make your way down the jungle choked slope that leads down to the edge of the village. And it's very difficult. If it were not for the enormous ruins, these tumble down black stone columns and collapsed walls, it would be difficult to tell that there was a community here at all. But you guys make your way down, and you're winding, Matanga, Hypatia, and Ulrika are winding through these structures, these small huts, poking inside and seeing that there's no one seemingly inside. But there is, in each of these huts, there is a distinctly seaweed or sea, like a stink of the sea. You know what it's like when you go down near a dock or a port? There's that awful, stink that people who, from inland don't know or don't recognize. That's the stench you have here. Rotting seaweed and rotting other sea creatures. Bones of fish and such also lie strewn on the ground. Strange coral and bone implements also seem present in these buildings. You guys are making your way through a small, what looks like maybe a clearing. Ulrika, Matanga, and Hypatia trying to hide hug yourself to the shadows when something lurches out from one of these buildings. And we cut back up as well to Papias, who is looking down at this, impatiently trying to see. You can't see where they've gone. They are so clever and furtive that you've lost any sign of your companions. And unfortunately, your attention down in the village does not alert you to the thing moving from the jungle beside you.
Never
Guys?
split the party.
Because of Matanga's awesome observation, you are not going to be surprised by this.
Nice.
But what you see as you are making your way around, you hear a hungry kind of croaking and choking sound. You turn and you see 3 hunched semi-humanoid creatures. Their eyes enormous and watery. Their skin pallid and scaled with grayish colors, and their jaws opening like the flapping mouths of fish and full of dagger-sharp teeth, tiny little rows. And in their arms, they carry a crude staff or spear. Papias, would you kindly give me an observation check, please? Let's see if you hear this thing before it is upon you.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I need Ulrika, Matanga, and Hypatia to kindly give me discipline checks. It's only a DC of 1.
Why don't you give yourself 2 doom for this observation check? I'm going to roll 4 dice.
Okay. Nice. You spin around in time to see this thing. It's trying to sneak up on you, hunched down even more so it seems almost like bent in half. I need Papias to make another discipline check as well. Hypatia, you're golden.
3 courage.
Even with my courage, am I courageous?
Yes, yeah, because this thing is actually. I remember if you fail this, it gets to make an attack on you for free. with its hideous croaking. And that may exceed it. Ulrika, no problem. You've dumped 1 into the momentum pool.
Matanga's frightened.
Oh, he rolled 0. Okay, hold on. I just get to make an attack on you. Let's hear Matanga. You take... Oh, shit, fuck. So Matanga, you take
Oops.
2 points of... let's see here. Well, what is your... Do you have any courage?
No.
Okay, so you take 2 more despair, and you have to give me 1 doom in order to take more than a standard action next round, because you're currently staggered, you're dazed, and I think that makes sense narratively for just how like the thing grabbing your foot, that, and you feel like the thing that's coming towards you, it's the one that's been hunting you since you arrived on the shores of this blasphemous island. Papias, we need yours then.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat that momentum sitting there.
Sounds good. Nice. And you feed it right back in. Unfortunately, that's the end of the round, so it is eaten up. Or you could, being the canny, what do you call it? Mechanical genius you are in the system. You told me that you were going to feed that momentum to raise his target number by 1 next round, right?
Yeah, that's it exactly.
I thought I heard that. Okay, cool. So you curse at this thing. What is it you think that Papias does to throw this thing off balance?
He starts maybe banging his sword against his shield and
Love
getting
it.
its attention.
So you see this thing, and instead of fucking staggering, you just like, bam, bring it. This thing did not expect that reaction, and kind of, it hesitates just enough to make it a more difficult check. Okay, so guys, there are 3 of these hideous things in the village facing off against Ulrika, Matanga, and Hypatia, and 1 facing off against Papias. My dramatics aside, I'm not spending Doom to go first, so who wants to go?
I'll go. Papias will take a swing at this thing.
Okay. You want to give me any Doom at all?
Oh, it's tempting. 32, huh? Yeah. Go ahead. Give yourself 3 Doom.
Nice. Love it. Whoa. And there's a, crit in there. Nice. So it's 3 successes. So you race in. This thing will not defend. Will it? Yeah, I was going to try parrying. Let's see what it can do. Sorry, I should have actually said I was going to do that before I saw your results. So, no, you know what? I'm not going to roll because I didn't say that. So, no going back to Bomberlin. What is... okay, so you got 2 net momentum then. Go ahead and roll damage. Nice. 3. You're really rocking with the specials. You need to get a weapon that's got some effects on it.
I know, right?
Yeah. So 3... and you have 3 or 2 momentum. Do you want to add damage? Do you want to dump it in the momentum pool?
When I hit this thing, does it seem like all of the damage I'm doing is soaking through, or does it have some natural armor?
It seems like it's got the combination of its like scaly hide and its thickened kind of bone structure. It seems like it's got a significant amount of protection.
Okay, I'm going to use 1 for a point of penetration.
Love it.
And 1 for an extra point of damage.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a... is it extra damage or extra... Oh, yeah, +1 damage. Right, okay, sorry, I was doing that wrong. Excellent. Okay, so that's 4 points of damage, which means you leave a nasty cut across this thing. You sort of hack down on it, and it tries to get out of the way, but you leave this gash along its side, and the blood that flows out of it, it seems red, like a man's blood, but it stinks with a fishiness that speaks to its unholy origin. Who's up next?
Can I drop my crossbow to draw my short sword?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, I will do that. And I'll take a swing at the one that's closest to me.
Okay. So you, they're not, oh yeah, I guess I said they already had sort of engaged. So yes, go ahead and make your attack roll. I will not defend.
All right.
They think they've got your number.
Aha.
You want to give me any doom or anything?
I am going to give you a couple doom.
Here you go. What do I get?
You get 2 doom.
2 doom. Okay.
Oh, ugly.
Ooh, and a complication. 2 complications. Oh boy. Oh man. Okay, but you do get a success.
D&D here. I want to keep those 20s.
Go ahead and roll your damage, and then I'll think of what the complication is going to be here. Oh, nice. Okay, so 4 points. And now you said you get, it's with your bow, you get to re-roll damage. All right, so you're able to, in a panic, you sort of drop your crossbow, you dance forward and stab out with your sword. And these things are a lot tougher than they look. Like you would have thought that you would be able to cut into this thing's hide like you were filleting a fish. But it seems like their hide is all full of like bony substructures and shit like that. So you don't cut as much as you want. And what I'm going to get that the complication is as you sort of dance back, this thing's spear seems to be moving faster than you would have expected. You stagger back to try and get out of its way. And I'm going to get you to make a athletics check against DN or difficulty 2, because you're sort of step over your crossbow. Matanga or Hypatia next?
I think Matanga. So to follow Matanga's character, I don't think I'm going to spend the doom to recover. I think I'm going to be staggered for this round, and possibly just adjust myself back, like as my free. Because I can do a free action.
Yeah, you can. What you can do is basically just restricts you to either a standard action or a move. These things are already engaged with you, so you don't need to like move in and attack them.
So you can still attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can still attack. I just can't do.
You can't move and attack.
Yeah,
or
that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was reading. I got my cheat sheets taped to my wall here, so I was just checking. I wasn't trying to make it. Okay, Ulrika, you stagger back, and unfortunately, you trip over it, and you're on the ground. You still have your sword in your hand. You're just prone right now, or flat in your butt. Matanga, what are you doing?
I'll take a swing then.
Sort of your spear out or your sword, your saber.
I would, once we got past the crocodile, I would switch back to my saber and my weapon.
Okay. So go ahead and make your attack roll.
Kablam! Yes.
Nice.
Kablam.
So that's 3 net successes. That's terrific. So you've got 2. That's 2 net successes. So 2 momentum. Go ahead and roll damage. Ooh, does the saber have any effects?
Just parrying.
Parrying. Okay, cool. So 2 points of damage. You have 2 momentum. I described how tough these things' armor is. Did you want to maybe spend 1 of those on piercing?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so that means reduce the armor. You still have 1 more. What do you want to do with that?
I'll put it in the pool.
The pool? Okay, for
someone who's more capable than me in melee.
Okay. So you slash at this thing with your saber, and again, like you cut across, and you would have thought this would have like laid its flesh open, but it seems to basically just expose this laced bony substructure. Next up is Hypatia. Before the dwellers go.
So is it right on me?
Yep.
I don't know the game mechanics as far as there an attack of opportunity or something if I'm shooting range against melee, or
it does cost me doom if you not attacking. Oh, hold on. No, you can make an attack. It's just that it's 2 out of your ideal range. So the target number would be starting at 2.
Target number goes up.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm much better with my range, so I'll do that anyways.
Okay. For those listening at home, there actually might be a way to retaliate, or that might not be the rules as written, but I'm not interested in looking it up right now. So, okay, go ahead, Hypatia. Your because of your ability, it reduces it by 1. So it's a TN of 2 or DC of 2 for the target number. And
there's some in the pool.
There's 1 momentum. Yeah.
Momentum in the pool. I'm going to use that, and I'll give you 2 doom.
Oh, love it. It's just what I asked for. Okay. Whoa! Holy smokes. 6. So that is 5 net. No, 3 net successes. Wait, no, 4, sir. 4. 4 net successes. So you shoot. Go ahead and roll damage. And let's see what you want to do with your extra momentum.
Some damage.
Ooh, not as good as against the croc. But you got 3 effects. Holy shit. So you ignore its armor.
The longbow is piercing, so...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So each effect reduces the armor by 1, doesn't it?
That's what piercing does?
Yep, it does. So you fire, and this arrow sinks deep into this thing. That seemed to be pretty fucking effective against it. And you still have 4 momentum.
Can I just do 2 extra damage?
Absolutely. So your shot kills this thing. You see your arrow sinks deep, like right into the fletching, and it slumps and drops down. And the thing is, as it drops dead, there's no discernible difference in its eyes. They seem to still be trained on you. So now it is time for the dwellers, and I got a big fat pool of doom to work through here. So let's see if I can work it.
Is there any momentum left over, Kev? I'm trying to look at the numbers here.
I don't think so. Have you dumped it all into?
Dumped it all into damage. Okay.
Yeah, so there's none left over. Okay, so then the first one will go at. We'll start with Papias because we kind of start with you. So this thing goes forward. Did you want to parry it all?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so go ahead and make a parry check. I want to get this thing down. Here we go. I'll make my check.
Where's my parry? So I have 3 because I have a parry quality to my sword, right? I get the 2 plus the 1. And
no, the
for that
parry. What the 2 means, it doesn't give you any bonuses. It just reduces the cost of your reaction. So you could do 2 reactions without costing any doom with your shield.
Okay, gotcha.
So I've rolled my hit. Go ahead and roll your parry. Do you want to give me any doom for that? Or
yeah. I'll give you 2 doom.
2 doom, okay.
Oh yeah, there's some momentum, fellas.
4 though, that's fucking great. All right, so 4 successes is enough to you get 1 net. So we'll dump that in the old pool there. So this thing comes charging in at you with that vicious-looking crude coral spear. It stabs at you, but you're while this thing may be inhuman, its form is far inferior to the discipline of the Aquilonian chivalry. So you batter this thing aside, and now you're doubly having after. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. You got 2 because I forgot the difficulty went up by 1 because of your initial battering of the shield. So there's 2 momentum in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So you've really positioned yourself. Sort of the Basil Polidorius score is starting to key up, and our heroes can now have extra stuff to draw on. All right, next, Ulrika, let's go against you. Did you want to try and parry?
I would like to try and parry, yes.
Does your short sword have the parry trait?
It does have the parry trait.
Awesome. So that means it costs you nothing. I am going to bump basically you're going to lose 1 success in your net because of being prone.
Okay.
So go ahead and make, do you want to give me any doom?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. There's 2 momentum. Do you want to take that first?
Yeah, why don't I start with that?
Okay. And go ahead and make your check. I'm making my attack roll. Oh! Awesome. Oh, nice. Oh, and you got a... Okay, so I rolled a complication and you rolled a complication. The first thing is you actually rolled a net of more successes. Oh, no, you didn't because you were prone. So you guys both, you managed to cancel him out. And the complication is that you know what? I'm gonna give you guys one momentum in the momentum pool, and I'm gonna take one doom. That's how I'm gonna do those things.
Okay.
So both of them, you sort of stagger in and you scramble back. He stabs at you first. You duck out of the way. He stabs at you a second time. You batter it aside with your short sword. He stabs at you a third time, and you sort of inch back on the ground, scrambling crab style. And then we turn to Matanga. Matanga, any defenses here, or?
I do have parrying on my saber.
Okay, so that means you get a free for your first reaction. So if you want to parry, there is one momentum available. I am spending more doom here because I'm spending it like it's going out of fashion.
I will use that momentum.
Okay, so go ahead and make your parry check. I'll make my attack roll here. Okay. Nice. Okay. So unfortunately, I do get one net, so I do hit you. This thing's spear does manage to connect with you. No doubt you're kind of unnerved by this thing's inhuman nature, but I did not generate any net momentum. So that is to your benefit. Let's see what we take here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Jesus. So I rolled 5 damage and an effect for piercing. And it's piercing 2. So what is your soak?
Well, I've had a jerkin, so 1, I think.
1. Okay, so you don't apply any soak, so you just take 5 points of damage and 1 wound. So this thing stabs in, and it gets past your defenses, and it sinks its that vicious spear, or a crude but really effective spear, deep into your abdomen. And you sort of look up, and this thing, its lip kind of snarls up at you as if it's been hunting you since yesterday. We now turn to Hypatia.
For the wound, there's like in the drop-down menu for wounds, there's H, T, and W. What do those stand for?
Let's see here. That I do not know. Let me take a look at your sheet. I don't know. Matanga, here we go. Matanga is one of the only characters who actually has trauma and wound. Healthy and then trauma and wound. So just a W is what you're going to do.
Okay, healthy, trauma, wound. Okay.
Yeah.
W. All right.
Okay.
1 W.
Okay. So what that means is your target numbers are going to go up by 1 for now until you're treated. Okay, so, and that's actually something that's neat about this, is that you can actually treat the wounds, and then they're bound for a time. You're not healed, they're just bound. And then if you take another wound, they basically break open again, and you suddenly start bleeding and feeling it again. But, Hypatia, do you wish to defend yourself? Oh, you killed this one, didn't you? There's nothing
I killed mine.
Yeah, fucking cheating DM. Jeez. Okay, so that's the end of the round, guys.
Another one appeared.
Momentum pool goes down by 1, and we're at the top of the round. Again, I'm going to set aside my unintentionally theatrical nature, and there is no doom being spent. So who wants to go first?
I'll shoot.
Okay. You turn, you've reloaded. You see that someone has injured Matanga. There's the bloodied end of that spear.
Matanga just cried out, I'm going to shoot at the one on Matanga.
I did not cry out.
Shoot Matanga. I'm on your side. I'm on your side. All hail the deep one.
I'm going to give you 2.
2? Okay.
Matanga didn't cry out. He grunted in serious
manliness
trauma.
Now, this thing has seen what you've done to its ally. I'm going to start blowing through some doom here to make a reaction. So I need 1 to make the reaction. I'll just spend 1. Actually, no, I got fucking tons of doom right now. No, that's good enough. Okay, go ahead. I'll make my check. Okay. Go ahead and make your shot.
I just did.
Oh, nice. Okay, so the difficulty would have been they're still engaged here, so it's 2, which means you got and I did roll 1 success on the check, so you got 1 momentum. You do succeed, and 1 momentum. Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
Oh, nice. 2, 3, 4 damage and 2 effects. It's piercing, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. So you ignore 2 armor, and you have 1 momentum left over. What do you want to do with that momentum?
Damage.
Yeah. Okay, so it dies. What does it look like as you sink your arrow into it?
Well, it's focused on Matanga and trying to bleed him out, and while it's raising its spear to attack again, catch him right in the armpit, goes right into the rib cage and hits something vital.
Okay. It makes a sound that is unnervingly human. It almost sounds like a child as it squeals and then falls down. Now, Ulrika, Matanga, or Papias, who wants to go?
I'll go. I guess I'd like to try to get off my butt.
Yeah, just give me an athletics check, DN or DC 1, just to scramble up.
Okay.
That won't be your action. That's just a move.
Just wondering if I could try to use an acrobatics to like kip up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay. I'll try that instead.
Okay.
Stupid character sheet.
That's also very Sandal Bergman-esque. So,
big money, no whammy.
here we go. Boom! 1 is all you need. You roll back, kip up, and you got your short sword ready.
All right, and I'm gonna take a swing.
Okay, I'm gonna blow a Doom to make a defense here as well. Okay, go ahead and make your check. Do you want to give me any Doom?
Not really, but I feel like I should. So
You're just gonna use it against you.
I'll give you 2.
Okay. All right. Oh, genius. Okay, so you certainly do enough. Go ahead and roll damage. You got a net of 1 momentum.
Okay, short sword.
Nice. And oh man, 3 short sword.
I don't have anything except for parrying on my short sword. So
Dag nabbit. Okay, so 3 damage. You have 1 momentum though. You could spend it on piercing. You could spend it on damage. You could.
Yeah, I'll spend it on piercing because
awesome.
I know these have armor.
Okay, so you hit last time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So this will actually be enough to take this thing down. How do you take this thing down? You maybe charge in, and as you sort of like you kip up and then race in past the length of this thing's spear, sinking your short sword into its neck and following it down, and then kip back up, ready to face the next. Okay, that leaves Matanga, I think, and Papias.
Papias will attack the one that he's facing.
Okay.
Go ahead and give yourself 2 Doom.
2 Doom. Okay, I'm going to spend 1 to do a reaction, so it'll just be a net of 1.
Oh, there's my 20. It had to happen.
Oh yes. Unfortunately, I rolled no successes on this. No successes on its defense. So that's 1 momentum. Go ahead and roll damage. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you want to spend that momentum on?
We're gonna make that go right through his soak.
Yeah. So I think what happens is you swing you sort of have battered this thing back, the spear aside, and then you bring it through. And once enough pressure is applied to this, it does seem that bone is as fragile as fish cartilage, and you nearly sever this thing's head off. But unfortunately, your footing gives way, and you sort of and fall down, and then sort of like boom, 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 tumble down into the village. Give me an athletics check to resist the any fatigue. But yeah, it's going to be you meeting up with your allies, I think. Okay, so Matanga, you're last. What are you doing? Yeah, that's sufficient. So you're not going to take any damage.
All right.
Emmy's come to say hi.
Hello, Emily.
Hi, sweetie. Okay, Matanga, what are you doing?
I'm very grateful for Hypatia's arrow to this guy's. Yeah, is there any around me still, or is it just the one that died?
There is. Oh, there's none. That's right. Yeah, no, they're all dead. Hypatia killed the one that was facing you. So there's just your wound in your side that seems to be bleeding.
Right.
And you guys hear the sound of like a bag of metal plates being dropped downstairs as Papias sort of rolls into the clearing. Kind of a little, a little muddy or dirty. But he's able to, place his shield in the ground, forces himself up. And you guys find yourself reunited. Now, let me just quickly check the first aid. I think it's a medicine. Is that what it's called? Check.
Healing.
Healing. I think it's a healing check. I think
intelligence.
I think the target number is equal to the number of wounds you have. So long as you've got that, then your wound is treated. So who would like? Is anyone trained in medicine? Or have any kind of aptitude for it?
It's listed on my character sheet with a target number 10, but I don't have a focus.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So see if we can treat Matanga's wound.
Do I need more than one success, or?
That's awesome. Papias and Matanga, are you guys? Are either of you guys down fortune points at all?
I'm down one.
No. You've got 3 Matanga?
So I've got 2 left, I think.
Okay, so yeah, then each of you gains a fortune point. That's great role playing. So, Ulrika, nice, good enough. So, Ulrika, you make use of sort of some torn sheets or some torn clothing and stuff like that, and you bind that vicious puncture wound in Matanga's abdomen. You sort of clap him on the chest. You'll be fine. And okay, what are you guys doing now?
Round a lot, or fight, or get stabbed again.
Yeah. Throughout this entire period, am I correct in thinking that Hypatia is keeping an eye on every corner of this?
Yeah, she's just kind of checking the trees, making sure nothing's moving, with listening for more creatures coming.
Yeah. Okay. So throughout this whole thing, being even closer to here, you still hear that the pounding of those drums. And I realize now that sounds more like Beautiful People than it does like tribal drums. But
We're back at D-Machine.
Yeah, really.
I'm going to pull Beautiful People out.
Yeah. So what are you guys going to do? It doesn't appear that there's anybody left in these in this community. It seems as if everyone has gone into the bowels of the ziggurat.
I think we should search these little places real quick to see if there's any valuables.
It's not. Yeah, there's nothing in really of significance. Remember, this isn't like
Then we carry on?
it's a matter of grabbing stuff. Like the game, the way that it measures treasure and stuff like that is in just general gold, and gold is described as like a fistful of jewels. So it's abstracted to be kind of the random loot. We never read a story about Conan, looting the corpses for gold coins or shit like that, right? It's
No.
Yeah, and that's what the game sort of supports. So like when you do get it, it's really a narrative kind of thing of like it's a crate full of jewels, or it's a fistful of priceless gold coins, or it's a a statue that's going to be worth uncalculable riches in the streets of Stygia or Zamora, I guess. What do you guys do then? It does seem like there's nothing really of significant value. Hypatia, you do seem disappointed that everything is like it looks as if it's been made by primitives. You cast this shit aside.
We should move on.
Yes, there's evil at foot here. Let's dig deeper.
This whole island is evil. Let's get off of it as soon as possible.
Let's cleanse it and then get off of it.
You want to have a bath? That's fine.
So what are you guys doing then?
Carry on towards the ziggurat?
Yeah, let's go to the ziggurat.
You're able to reach the base of the ziggurat, and while everywhere you have been here has felt hot and humid and stifling. When you get here, there is a chill clamminess that seems to permeate the region. The stone itself still seems black and oily, as if there is the dew of morning clinging to it. And there is an odd rainbow reflection that comes from when the light hits as well. The entrances to the ziggurat seem to be giant tunnels buried into the earth, leading down. Greasy black stone steps leading further in underneath. The wafting stink of hot sea comes up from beneath, as well as the pounding feeling of the drums. It seems as if this drives it forward, and you can feel the pounding rhythms hitting your chest. Boom, 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 boom. What do you guys do? Are you venturing down?
Press on.
Okay. So we see you guys carefully making your way down and through the depths in here. Now it is not lit down here. How do you guys want to? Do you stumble along in the darkness and in the small, oily torches that seem to light some of the walls, or do you? You could take one of these torches at the first opportunity, I guess. Yeah, do you have darkness? No. It's yet another reason I fucking love this game, is that dark is always a thing.
It's dark for everybody. I'm sorry, some of you don't have bonuses that go overcome.
Yeah.
I think, we just grab a torch.
Okay, so who's going to carry the torch then? Because that will take up a hand.
I'm mostly using my short sword right now, so
okay.
I guess I'll carry the torch.
So you've got your crossbow slung across your back. You have your short sword, and that the smoky torch that you're carrying. Now the torch casts really uneven and dancing light around too. So the carvings and friezes that mark the insides of these things are only half visible, but you feel that for the sake of your stability of your mind, it's almost a blessing that you can't make out the clear details of this thing. The walls themselves seem to undulate. You feel it's got to be a trick of the light as you pass them, because they feel, when you touch them, like firm stone. But there is definitely a feeling of wrong as you make your way deeper in, past the pounding cascade of the drums. We cut to you guys sort of appearing, as you sneak your way through, to the heart of the ziggurat. And what is there is a wide open area that has a bunch of different alcoves full of these inhuman deep sea hybrid creatures. And in the center of it, these alcoves seem to be looking down on an altar that stands at the edge of this enormous well. And the sound and the smell of the sea comes from deep within. But it is the sickening rot that reaches your nostrils. We can kind of picture you guys, sneak up on one of these things, and maybe Matanga or Ulrika, you grab it and slit its throat and toss it down. From where you are, that you are one of 4 walkways or sort of stone kind of walkways that lead down, or ramps that lead down to it. On either side, it seems to fall down into blackness. And then they meet, those 4 walkways meet in the middle where that altar and the well is. And on the altar, you can see Ilya. Around the side, there are 4 of those hideous things wearing tattered streams of seaweed, dried in kind of a mockery of the robes of the priests of men. And leading the chant is a tall and impossibly skinny man with a distinct walleye. Kind of think like Matt Frewer wearing some makeup with like sort of the big bulbous eyes. He wears robes like that too, but he has these ancient kind of medallions around him, and in his hand he carries a giant coral dagger, which seems to be affixed with a bunch of precious stones. And he's the one who's leading the charge, and the drums seem to be located in the alcoves. So this whole room is boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. It's just facing back or having kind of like a reverb effect. And looking up, you can see that the ceiling seems to disappear into darkness. But you know, somewhere above, the sound is being carried to the apex of the ziggurat, and the sound is carried out across all of the island and deep into the depths of the well. Matanga and Papias, you can't help but worry what might be hearing the sound of worship at the bottom of that well. You also see on the far side, opposite you guys, there are a bunch of the pirates who have been chained up as ritual sacrifices, and it looks like about half of them have already been gutted like fish, their entrails laid out in a gift to whatever these things pray to. That is the situation you find before you. What do you guys want to do?
You want to rescue the pirates and try and use them as either additional help against these creatures or diversion? Or do we just charge in and try and get to Dahlia?
I agree with the rescuing of the pirates to help bolster our support, at least.
What do you guys think?
I'm kind of fine with letting the pirates die, but I don't know how we'll get
Those
to
Papias.
Get to Delia. I suppose a well placed shot on that high priest looking guy might.
Would you guys kindly give me lore checks, please?
Lore.
Ooh, Papias. Nice.
Yeah,
Not a lot of luck for Hypatia. Hey, Hypatia gets one.
that was lucky.
Okay. So, Papias, what you can tell is, having been exposed to many different faiths in the cosmopolitan upbringing that you experienced, you have a sense of sort of the tempo of ceremony, and you get a distinct feeling that whatever this is, it is reaching its climax.
Okay, I'll turn the others. This is not good. We have to stop them. Something evil is taking place here, and it is about to come to a climax. And he'll draw his sword and shield and ready to charge in.
It's a climax.
All right.
What do you guys
I'll
think?
pass my king of the torch then,
Okay.
and I'm going to ready my crossbow and take aim on the high priest guy.
Okay. Matanga and Hypatia, anything you want to do in preparation?
I'm gonna do the same with my bow.
Okay.
Is a chamber like well lit?
It is in here, yeah.
I'm gonna toss the torch aside and possibly try to get into some shadows to get closer
Yeah.
without being seen.
Matanga, you know, there certainly are enough, like there are bits of like, you know, braziers that are blazing with fire, but again, they cast really like dark shadows as well too. You could make a stealth check trying to make your way over to where the pirates are. Like if you do want to run with that plan as well.
Sure. I generate momentum too with my stealth because of my living shadow, so
That's
that'll
correct.
carry forward to the other guys.
Okay. So what would you like to do then?
I'll stealth to try and get into a good position because I'm not good at full frontal attacks like Papias. I'm more opportunistic, I think, about my attacks. So
Okay. So I'm going to set the difficulty of this at, I think, a 2 to get yourself over there. So did you want to spend or give me any doom to get extra dice?
I'll give you 2 doom.
2 doom, okay. And you know what, guys? Does anyone have a suggestion for some way that you could aid him to give him extra dice? The proverbial stone at the foot of the guard kind of stuff. Well, I guess another option, Matanga, is you could spend a fortune point, because remember, that counts as one of your dice. You can spend a fortune to automatically get a 1 and then plus make your roll. So I would give you 2 successes plus whatever else you roll.
Sure, okay. I will spend the fortune point.
Okay, so we know you've got 2 successes right now. So it's whatever you roll now with those 4 dice, that is just momentum.
Kev, is there a brazier near the pirates that are tied up?
Is there, sorry?
Is there a brazier here where the pirates are tied up?
Sure. Yeah.
I wonder if it provide ample distraction if I were able to hit the brazier with an arrow and knock it over. It's a pretty tough shot to make, but
it would definitely disrupt everything, but that might actually draw everybody's attention. Just as a fair warning for it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'll go back to shooting the main guy with Ulrika.
So you briefly consider that. On the upside, Matanga rolls 3 momentum, and you've positioned yourself to be as close to those pirates as you like. There's only 1 guard there, sort of standing near them. And really by guard, I mean like ceremonial officiant.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's like cutting them open as the head priest sort of references them to do that. All right, guys. So then if you are ready to jump in, you're sitting on 3 momentum. Who wants to go first?
Open it up with the range, guys.
Ulrika, go ahead.
All right. I will go, I guess. And
You're sitting on 3 momentum too, so
3 momentum. That's always nice.
okay.
I think I'm going to use that momentum.
Kevin's already deleted
5
it.
dice already. That's awesome.
And hopefully I will generate some more.
Here we go. Boom. Okay. So he is at medium range, which means it's a difficulty of 1.
And
so you generate 2 momentum from that. Your crossbow unleashes. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, and since it's a successful shot and I use my marksman, we gain an additional momentum.
Oh, nice. So you got 3 momentum right now. Let's see what your damage is. 2. It's bullshit.
Yeah. So I'm going to re-roll those zeros.
Okay, go ahead and roll 2d6. I feel like I may have entered the numbers wrong there because that crossbow feels like it should be doing a lot more damage. Oh, nice. Okay, so you got another point of damage and an effect, but the fucking crossbow doesn't have that anything useful. Okay, so then that is 3 points of damage against this thing. So you fire, and it sinks into this. He's got no defense to it whatsoever, and he's not down. He's a little tougher than he looks, but there's a bolt in his chest now, and he's sort of looking around trying to figure out where this came from.
Well, there's an arrow to follow.
Go ahead, Hypatia. So there is... Oh, hold on. Chad, you also have 3 momentum. You could just add that to damage if you wanted. Or you could dump it back in the pool. The reason it would be useful is because remember, anytime something takes 5 wound or 5 points of damage, it suffers a wound.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. So then how does this guy die?
I think he's just as he's raising his voice to a crescendo that'll lead to another pirate sacrifice, I get him right in the throat.
He's trying to talk and is gurgling, and then blood comes out of his mouth and it rolls down his chest. He looks around. The other kind of like, dwellers of the deep that are near him sort of stop and look up, knowing that something has gone wrong with the procedure, and they're like, their eyes get even bigger as they see their high priest sort of stagger back, blood pouring from his throat. Hypatia, what are you doing?
She redirects at one of those 4 creatures on the dais there.
Now, you have got nothing there, but remember, you can blow your. I phrased this really poorly. One of your loads for getting extra dice automatic, like as if you were getting momentum.
Okay.
Your volley ability. That just you got 2, I think. So you just be like unloading with arrows at these things.
2 loads of arrows. Okay.
So that would give you 4 in total.
Okay. And there's those 4 creatures.
Well, no, it just gives you 4 dice, not extra attacks.
Okay. But the guy died, right?
The guy died, and there's still 4 of those efficients left. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm shooting at one of the 4 efficients.
Go ahead. So you have 4 dice right now. You want to give me any doom?
I'll give you one.
Nice. I think I get one free when it hits 40. Whoa, shit. Oh my God. Look at that. 3 crits. Holy shit. So you got 7 successes. Holy crap. So that's 6 momentum you've got.
Well, I'm going to turn some of the momentum into piercing with my bow.
Okay.
To avoid or go through the armor.
I'm going to say that there's go ahead and roll damage. Let's see how much damage you do, and then you can decide what you want to do with your momentum.
That's true. I should do that. 20. Good to me tonight.
Ooh. Special. Holy shit. So you don't even need to do that. You're going to pierce for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So 5. You know what? If you dump all that momentum into it, I'll just say you drop 3 of them.
With my volley?
Yeah.
I will do that.
Okay. So the bolt takes down the high priest. 3 of those efficients drop down from the hail of archer fire that comes in. And that leaves Matanga and Papias. What are you guys doing?
And then I give Ulrika a knuckle bump. It's like, yeah.
The traditional Hyborian.
What's left standing right now? Is
there is still 1 efficient. There's probably a couple guards around the pirates, and then up in the alcoves, there's tons of these fucking things, like hundreds of them.
Would I be able to close the gap and charge one of those guys and run them through, or attempt
that sounds
to?
good? Yep, absolutely. I'm fine with that. So because you as the arrows were unleashed, I think you sort of took it as your sign to go charging in. So yeah.
Okay. Do I want to give you doom? Do you really get an extra at 40?
No. Subway club card. Collect 40 doom. Get 1 doom for free.
Oh, give yourself 3 doom.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Smacky.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, that's amazing. They do not have a chance to parry. You've got 3 momentum that comes from that.
3 momentum. 3
Yep.
damage. I'll spend my 3 momentum to make it 6 damage.
Okay, so this one, how does this one go down beneath Papias' sword?
He charges in the room, screaming at the top of his lungs, and just runs this guy right through. Is he near this thing, this well in the middle? Can he drop him into it?
Absolutely. You skewer him through, twist him around, and he falls off. Wilhelm scream down into the the well. Okay, that leaves Matanga. What are you doing?
If I can kind of sneak up on the officiate by the pirates, I'd like to stealthily take him out if I can.
Absolutely. With how well you nice. Good. This Hypatia, for those at home, Hypatia just said, "This is Aquilonia."
As the guy falls into the pit.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so Matanga, yeah, you go ahead and make an attack roll. I'm actually going to have it at, because of your incredible stealth from before, it's a 0 difficulty. So whatever you roll for your successes here is just momentum. So 1 momentum.
Sweet. It's a good
Go
start.
ahead and roll damage.
Right.
Holy shit! So you fucking cut this thing's head off. So as this chaos is going down before, the efficient kind of like, brings his coral dagger up, and then we see sort of like from waist down, or like neck down, we just hear this thump, and then this headless body falls to its knees and then slumps to the ground. That same fish-smelling blood pouring or collecting in a small pool near it. And I don't think there was any sound made as you did that either, Matanga. It was like a... Whew. Okay, so now it is the bad guy's turn. And now you may be saying, Kev, there's no bad guys left.
Except for that 40 doom.
I have a lot of doom left. What you hear what we see as the viewers is that priest having fallen to his knees, kind of, his arms, trembling, blood pouring out of his mouth. His eyes roll up almost to the back of his head, and he says one word. Kutallu. And you guys hear from deep in that well. Whoa. Whoa. And you hear the sickening wet sound. Whap, 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 as something massive stirs and begins to pull itself out of the well. You feel, in spite of the heat, a cold chill cut through every one of you as something unnatural and older than the bones of the universe stirs. Would everyone please give me a discipline check? Making its way up. You can see Papias down in that darkness. Your eyes are straining, trying to see anything. What is the source of this sound? Ooh, and you roll.
I'm going to use my courageous and re-roll one of my d20s.
Okay, so re-roll the 12? Well, unfortunately, you can't roll the complication.
You can't re-roll the 12. Oh, really?
Yeah, complications you're stuck with. Hey, Hypatia gets it as well.
Okay, well, we'll stick with that.
And Ulrika gets none. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so anybody who rolls, basically take 2, subtract how many successes you rolled. That's how much despair you gain. And those of you who roll...
I have courage of 1.
I rolled a 1 and a 20.
Oh, okay, yeah. So go ahead and ignore the despair then. You rolled a I saw it. So the complication from Papias and from you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grant this thing. So something's gonna happen when this thing comes up. So next round, I'm blowing Doom to go first. And what happens is this disgusting and utterly wrong formless mass of tentacles and teeth comes rolling out and towers above you, Varro. And from 5 mouths, it screams out something that is utterly and horribly inhuman and not fit for the hearing of mortals' ears. I need everybody to give me, let's see here. Actually, nothing. I was going to make an attack. Oh, and everyone needs to make another discipline check. And I'm going to make a damage roll, and I'll supply it to all you guys for whoever fails.
All of us? Oh, Matanga.
Oh, Matanga,
Fortune
you...
point. Fortune
that's
point.
amazing.
Fortune point.
I'm surrounded
Okay.
by pirates. That's why my courage is bolstered.
Holy shit. Everybody suffers 6 despair, and it's piercing. So it's piercing 2. So you ignore 2 points of your courage. Does anybody take 5 points of despair in total after you apply your courage?
Yes.
Okay, that means you gain a trauma. So you're now suffering +1 to your target numbers. So, and the thing that sort of brings you guys back, I'm going to save its actions for after you guys go. But what happens is Delia screams. And that's what sort of brings you guys back to your senses. What do you guys do?
So do I take 6 minus the 2 for discipline?
No. It's just if you got a courage stat. Let's see what Matanga's got. Matanga has no courage, so you just take a full 6 points of damage, which means you take a trauma as well.
But I get, because I rolled 2 on my discipline. Right?
No, all that does is it means that it doesn't get a bonus to the damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then I do take, I'm past my despair threshold, I think, too.
Oh, which means you got 2 traumas.
Mm-hmm.
Matanga, there's a little bit of pee.
So Kev, with courage 3, and it would take 3.
You take 3. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no, but it's piercing 2 though, so it reduces your courage by 2.
2.
So your courage would be 1.
Courage 1. So
you take
5.
5. So you take a trauma as well.
Okay, 1 trauma.
All right. So this horrible thing, Kutallu, has come. What do you guys do? So Papias, you're pretty much right near where she is. It's a matter of trying to grabbing her and going if you want.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but what would you guys like to do?
I want to free the pirates.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, when I get my ship back, I'll need good sailors. So fight for me.
So every single one of them would have suffered a trauma from this thing. Each one you free goes screaming off into the darkness.
I'll do it myself.
You got a fortune point for that. That's great.
That was awesome.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Matang has freed the pirates who are all running off into the darkness. Hypatia, Ulrika, or Papias, what do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna tell Delia to get to one of the entrances, and I'm gonna stand my ground to try and fight this thing.
Okay. So she hops off and goes racing off. That's just, I'll say, a move. You still got an action if you want to take an action.
Sure. Let's feed you 3 doom.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a swing at this
Doom for Kutallu.
monstrosity. There we go.
Holy shit. Okay, so this thing is, let's see here. I have a shit ton of doom, so it's for sure going to try and parry here. Let's see. And I'll blow my, see if I can get this down to 0 by the time the session ends. Oh, it's terrible. I actually only get 1 success out of all that shit. So you still gain, 6. You had 6 minus the 1 is 4 momentum.
Yes.
Pretty fucking good. Go ahead and make your damage roll.
Oh, that's terrible. I get to re-roll though a melee with no mercy. So let's roll a d6.
You were showing no. Kutallu deserves no mercy.
Oh, nice. So 3 damage.
Nice, and an effect. Okay, so 3 damage, and this thing is this unnatural physiology suggests that it's got an incredible amount of resistance to damage, or it's hard to wound. I guess.
How many momentum did you get from your attack? Though?
He has 4, I think.
What are you going to do with that there, Mate?
Well, we're going to use some penetrating attacks to break through its armor.
So to give you a judge, this thing seems tougher than plate, to give a context of how much armor this thing may have.
So we want to run?
No, you can injure it. It's just that for how much, remember, every momentum you spend reduces soak by 2.
Yes.
So you got 3 in total you could spend. How much do you want to spend?
Let's spend, well, I did 3 damage? So let's spend 2.
Yep.
And I am going to spend a fortune point to take a bonus action to perform an additional standard action. So I'm going to do another
Nice.
attack here.
Fuck yes. So, and then you're going to bank that momentum or
Use it.
No, I'm going to use it.
damage?
No, I'm going to use it for this roll.
Okay, so then what you notice is that it's still, in spite of your piercing effect, there still is some protection, but you do actually injure it.
Nice. All right, second attack. Yes.
Nice. Okay. I will spend Doom to. Sorry, I should have said this before. I was going to do this when you rolled anyway because I got to start blowing through some of this Doom. All right. One success again, too. This thing is so big and slow. So that means you've got a net of 4. So a net of 2 momentum from this one.
2 momentum.
Incredible.
4
4
damage. I'm going to roll another one of my d6. No mercy. Yes.
Nice. So that's 5 damage.
5 damage, and I had what, 2 momentum? So I'll use the 2 momentum for the penetration. So
Okay.
4 points.
So, once again, yeah, you hit this thing. Oh man, and it is still so rubbery and tough, but your mighty stroke does do more damage. And there's a sickening white liquid that pours out of this thing like unholy ichor. Okay, we got Ulrika and Hypatia still to go. Who wants to go?
All right. Well, I will go. Seeing something so unnatural, I am going to quickly kiss the ornate symbol of the cult of Bori, the god of Hyborians.
Okay.
Because I finally want to be back on the farm.
Mom!
And I'm going to give him a volley.
Nice. Well, let's see how you're going. Do you want to give me any doom for this, or are you your volley would give you, if you're blowing both loads, you're up to 4 right now. And again, this is probably the last encounter. You could use that 5th dice from a fortune point and roll a 1.
I think I will do that.
Nice. So we know you got 2 successes, which is already 1 momentum. Nice. And that is another 1. Holy shit. So you've got 3. So that's 4 momentum you rolled on this.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Let's get some damage. And I am doing, I believe it is +1 damage as well because of the volley.
Yes, +2 because you used 2 volleys, right? Holy shit. So 6 damage, and you have 4 momentum. What do you want to spend that momentum on?
Can I make it ignore the soak?
Yes, you could spend 2. Papias has been spending 2 so far, and it's still been having some armor. So do you want to spend 2 and then leave 2 for damage, or
I'm in the pool for Hypatia?
So put in the pool 2 in the pool for Hypatia? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this hits it, and your crossbow hit does seem to finally. This thing, its tentacles are writhing around, and all of its mouths, full of uneven teeth, are screeching. Now, as with Papias, you could also spend a fortune point, Ulrika, to take another action if you want.
That seems like a good plan at this juncture.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it another volley.
Okay. Give him shit.
Yeah.
There's 2 momentum in the momentum pool, so that would give you your 5 dice.
Yeah. What did he do?
Well, 5 is the maximum you can have in a dice pool. So nice. So that's 2 net successes. So you got 2 momentum. Go ahead and roll damage. There's hail of bolt fire coming down.
Oh yeah.
Wow. 5 damage. So you still have 2 momentum. What do you want to spend that on?
I guess I'm gonna spend it on soak.
On piercing. Okay. So once again, another. You cut through another fucking wound. This thing roils around. Because it's taking so much damage, I'm going to spend a doom for it to go. Oh, do I have to? Wait, you guys have all gone. Oh, Hypatia hasn't gone. Right? Yeah, so I'm going to go with it before Hypatia goes. So I'm going to spend some doom on the attack here. And one of these tentacles lashes out at, or not lashes, but kind of whips out towards Papias to try and embrace you.
I will try to parry.
Nice. You're going to get 1 free momentum for that because I rolled a complication. So go ahead and add another dice to your dice pool for that.
Okay, and then I'll give you 2 doom.
Nice. I like doom. Holy shit balls. 1, 2. So that's 7
awesome.
parry. So that definitely negates all of its successes. And you filled the momentum pool up with 4 more.
There you go, Hypatia.
So you see it going in, and you sort of anticipated this, it's hungry tentacles, and you batter them out of the way. I'm going to spend 2 doom to make a second action. Its DC is increased by 1. I'm going to spend more doom on the dice pool. Do you want to take another reaction? You can do it for free with your shield.
Yes, I am. And I will use 3 of those 4 momentum.
Nice. Okay.
Trying to hug you, Papias.
Yeah.
Trying.
Come here for a hug. Bring it
Nice. So
in.
4 means you still get a net of 2 momentum for it. So your momentum's back up to 3. So what does it look like as these tentacles are all lashing in at you and you're battering them aside?
Yeah, it's just basically he's got a sword and shield up, and as they're coming at him, he's just knocking them aside of the shield whenever they come near him, slashing away, doing his best, dancing around them. The tentacle kind of drops next to him on the ground as he sidesteps and cuts a piece off here and there.
Nice. So then Hypatia, you're sitting on a momentum pool of 3. What do you want to do?
Hypatia's going to run in and stab it with her knife. Just kidding. No, she's going to use her bow. Just thought I'd check you guys. I'll play a little fun. I don't even know if she has a knife. She doesn't even have a knife.
Are you down any momentum or any fortune points?
No.
Okay.
Give them for a day like this.
Okay.
All right. So here's our first attack. I'm going to use those 3 momentum.
Okay.
And kablam.
Oof. She hit.
Oh, that was ugly.
That was not great. Don't you get to re-roll 2, though?
I do.
Is that Ulrika?
No, I have accurate as well.
Yep,
Reroll
make your
2
reroll.
for ranged combat tests. These are 2d20s.
No, accurate is for damage based on successful ranged attacks.
Okay, yeah. So it says a 2, and it's got the
Oh, right. Yeah, no, the symbol,
Misroll.
the
Misroll
symbol of
thing.
Aquilonia, the phoenix.
yeah.
That's for damage dice, not for attack.
Okay, so then I don't do anything different. I just can
Okay,
roll my
so just,
damage.
go ahead and roll damage. Oh, I forgot to roll
Yeah.
the thing. That's okay. I won't go back to Bomberlin.
No modifiers.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2. Oh, wow. With piercing. So once again, whew, that means 2 more wounds. So this sinks in. And what happens? I'm going to spend a bunch of doom on this. You hit it, and the surface of this thing sort of like undulates and then starts splitting open. And from within, covered in that white ichor, are basically, imagine like some kind of a horrible fucking mixture between octopus, squid, and spider. And that's what's kind of skittering down and is carpeting the ground in front of you, Papias.
It's pretty.
Disgusting.
So has everybody gone then?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I went early with Kutallu. So then it is next round, and I am going to spend Doom for Kutallu to go.
That's
And
nasty.
it's actually going to start lurching back down into the well
No.
as its young sort of surge forward at or offspring or whatever. These things are probably as ancient as it is, and just lurked inside like some kind of hideous parasite. They're lurching forward towards Papias. Papias, give me another. I'm going to make another, actually, attack. What do you call it? Mental attack against you. Let's see how it does. Fucking complication. All right, so you do not take any. These things skitter in, but you just kind of stomp on them with your boot before they're able to get in close whatsoever. But even more, these things are starting to surge over the side. Delia has run up to where Hypatia is. Unless Matanga, did you call for her to come towards you?
I guess that was my next step, was to make sure that Delia was okay.
Yeah. So going on your love for her, you see your love / paycheck making your way down, and you call out to her, and she turns and sees you and comes racing up towards you, and you guys embrace briefly. So Matanga is on one side with Delia. Ulrika and Hypatia are raining arrows down. Papias, you are in the middle with these things. The pool of red, oily blood from these deep dwellers spreading around, and the young encroaching in on you. What are you guys doing?
Can we still have a round to take a shot at the big boy, or is it gone?
No, he has lurched back down. I mean, you can follow him down the well if you like, but
No, it's okay.
Dump a brazier on him.
So what do you guys
Already
going to do?
dropped it.
I think
down there.
well, we've got Delia. I think we get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
So you sort of do you guys separate, or do you all meet up with Matanga and then follow after those fucking coward pirates?
We'd converge on Matanga, I think. I would, at least. I'd go over there if that's where Delia is.
Okay. So you guys make your race over to where Matanga is, and you all go running down the same direction that the pirates went. And then that sort of, that's the moment when the shock sort of wears off, and those spears begin to start raining down towards you guys, but they're all sort of missing and clattering on the ground. You guys go racing through the darkness, and then come bursting out into the warm humidity of the daylight. You find yourself, as you're racing out, you can see that there are a couple crude outrigger canoes that are placed near this small, the side you've come out is the opposite side you guys came in, and there's actually a small lagoon here where these things live. And it seems like some of the pirates are trying to get one of these outriggers out into the water. What are you guys doing?
That's
Run
my
him
ship.
through.
You just gotta narrate this scene through. I'm not really fussed about rolling dice or
Run him
whatever.
through. Never win him. Let's take that ship and get out of here.
Okay, so you guys go racing down, and I think that as you're running down, there's a hail of arrows from Ulrika and Hypatia, who dropped 2 or 3 of them, who are I've brought it right to the edge of the water. Matanga, you're expert, or at least you are presenting yourself as a seasoned enough seaman to be able to get this thing out on the water and away from these things. You all pile into this giant outrigger canoe, or outrigger or whatever, and set sail into the lagoon. And as you guys are paddling frantically trying to reach the edge of this thing, we see sort of Jovito's Raiders of the Lost Ark style. All these things come out and they're throwing shit down at you, but it's all falling short or hitting the canoe as you guys sail out past the edge of the lagoon and into the open water. What is the closing comment we hear from your guys? Nice one, Matanga. I hate snakes, Matanga. So as you guys are sailing out past the lagoon, where will our heroes go? Will they survive this voyage? Are they going from the frying pan into the fire? I guess we'll have to find out some other time. So, for those, let me get out of roll 20 here, guys, and I will. Let me just close this thing here. Here we go. Turn the camera back on. Brilliant. Okay. So for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us for this Conan one-shot, playing with introducing many of our players here to Conan for the first time. I know that I made a number of mechanical mistakes, and we sort of hand-waved a couple things in here. So no need to necessarily point those out for me. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session or the game, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor to respond in a timely fashion. Alternatively, you can shoot me a tweet on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, or you can reach me at dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You also may notice that in the description of this video, we have a link to the Heroes Save Villages charity fundraising campaign that we're running on the channel. This is something that we have paired up with the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, which is a terrific organization that provides both direct benefits and advocacy for children living in high-need circumstances, orphans, and things like that. If you want to learn more about SOS Children's Villages International or about the Heroes Save Villages campaign, click through to the link and you can find a bunch of information there. You can also find information about the rewards we have for any donations that are made to that campaign. Any donations go directly to assist SOS Children's Villages International in the very good work that they do. So if you do enjoy the channel, if you enjoyed the session, I just ask that you consider clicking through and learning more about Heroes Save Villages. You also will notice that in the bottom there is a link to the to sign up for the Hobbsapalooza online convention. I will be running 2 games at that. This is on December 1st, Saturday, December 1st, and Sunday, December 2nd. I'll be running first a OSR-style game set in the world of Bungie's Destiny video games. So if you want to take up arms as a guardian, you'll have an opportunity to do that. And on Sunday, I'm running a session of Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. So if you'd like to try out that OSR game, that is an opportunity to do that. Costs you nothing. All you need to do is sign up and show up, and you get to play the game. Finally, and certainly not but least, I want to thank my players for tonight. So guys, Matt, Dave, Chad, Adam, thank you so much for playing the game with me tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed meeting learning the Conan game, and congratulations on defeating and surviving the Pit of Kutallu.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah. Good stuff. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, great, guys. Then for
Thanks,
those
Kev.
listening at home, thanks so much, and we will see you again very soon.